Welcome. This is Tom.
Mike.
AM.
In the PM.
Right here at HUDRadio.com. We are live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios. We're right here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. BMW of Atlantic City. We're off exit 37 on the Parkway. Find them online. BMWofAtlanticCity.com. Every Wednesday night we are brought to you by none other than Gibson Mayer, LLC. Your certified public accountant. Find them on the web. GibsonMayer.com. Tom Arnone, Michael Mataraki back in the house. Sean Redden, Rob Povey on the ones and twos. A ton to talk about tonight. We'll get into the Eagles to start the show, but we're going to talk about the Flyers. The kids are up. It's exciting. A hockey team that can actually outskate some people. Now, tough night last night, but we'll get into the Flyers later on in the show. We'll talk about Cuban's thoughts on the NFL maybe imploding in 10 years. We'll dive deep into that. AL, NL playoff talk. Joel Embiid, Dario Saric. The Sixers, we got to talk about them. Are they going to be better? Are they going to be worse? Is it a rebuild of a rebuild of a rebuild of a rebuild? We'll talk about that. But we're gonna get back a little. We'll talk a little Eagles-Redskins. We'll touch on the game, but we're going to preview Eagles-Vikings. But our poll question is all Carson Wentz tonight. And you can vote for it. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. HUD Radio is where you can find us. And it's brought to you by Scanzano Sports. Find them on the web, scanzanosports.com. The Eagles, QB Carson Wentz will learn the most from 3 wins, 2 losses, scoring drives, or interceptions. Again, let us know. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. HUD Radio is where you can find us. Mr. Mataraki, you're back in the saddle again. So, sir, you can start it off. It is your poll question, which is brought to you by Scanzano Sports. Again, find them on the web, Scanzano
Mr. Arnone requesting permission to speak as I've been off of these airwaves for the better part of, 5 weeks now?
As Trump would say to Hillary, permission granted.
Permission granted.
Probably not. He's definitely not saying permission granted. But
it's a tough one. Honestly, he better not be learning anything from wins and touchdowns. That's what you're supposed to do. If anything, I would hope that the interception or interceptions as the season goes on was a learning experience for him. But I think he's got to look at the losses. I think he's got to look at how they lost, why they lost, and what he could have done differently to keep them from losing.
Mr. Radin?
I agree with Mike. He's got to learn from the losses. I didn't see a lot of good things out of him on Sunday, though. There was a couple plays where I liked what I saw, but a majority of the game, he was a little quick with the trigger in the pocket. But I mean,
wouldn't you be?
I was just gonna say I can't really blame him, but we all talked about how poised this kid was, and but he showed he is a rookie Sunday. But what I did like, what I saw out of him was he didn't get gun shy of going deep. He threw it to Jordan Matthews, double covered, threw an absolute dime to him. Went deep a couple times to Aguilar, DGB. Shows he's not scared. He's ready.
I'm going to go with winning. I mean, losing's easy, in my opinion, to rebound from and learn your mistakes. But when everything's going good and you're winning, right, that's what you got to build off of. Because it's easy to go around when everybody's patting you on the back and telling you how great you are after the first 3 weeks. You go home to North Dakota. You're the face of the NFL. Everybody's talking about Carson Wentz. And now in the Detroit game, he played well, in my opinion. Yeah. He played well. Did he regress a little bit last week? No question. He's a rookie. Tons of pressure in his face early on. And even with the greats, Brady, Rodgers, when Peyton was in his heyday, when you put pressure on guys, they get skittish. Even Ben, who's a guy who can move around in the pocket. All of them. It doesn't matter who you are. So, how can he learn? Can he learn from not being skittish this week? Because Minnesota's going to bring it. We know they're going to bring it. Mm-hmm. So can you stand in the pocket? And can Doug Peterson do a better job of getting the ball out of his hands quicker? Because the first 3 weeks of the year, this guy led the NFL in the quickest, release. Mm-hmm. I think they were averaging 2.5 seconds, which is number 1 in the league. A lot, which Andy Reid and Alex Smith did in Kansas City, which when they're successful, Alex Smith get the ball out of his hand quick too. So I think I'm going to go with the wins, because after losses, you should put your head down and get back into the playbook and try to get better. But when you're winning, how do you improve off of winning? How do you police yourself? Is the question, right?
It's a great,
like a Michael Jordan thing. How do you police yourself?
And I think
want to be great.
I think that's why I'm going the other direction. Only because when you're winning games, and if you're playing real clean, like he did for the first 3 weeks, then you kind of find yourself questioning, what could I do better? And you have to dig for those things. But when you lose games, especially the way they lost the Redskins game, I mean, you sit down, you turn on the film, and it should just be jumping out at you immediately. So, not that you're not going to learn from wins, because they should be learning for everything.
Well, you guys gave me no choice.
No. I mean, no, but you made a valid.
My hands.
No, but you made a really valid point, and certainly, it just becomes a situation where I think if you look at him the last couple weeks, he learned that a sack is better than an interception, but now he has to learn that an incompletion is better than a sack.
I was going to say, except in them last 2 plays, I was sitting there like, you got to know to get rid of the ball in that situation.
Well, I think in a situation like that, and this is where I actually, I kind of like the kid, even in the sense that he took the sacks, because here he is in his 5th game, and he already knows he's the guy who's got to make a play.
Oh, yeah.
He's standing back there, and he knows that he's got an offensive line in front of him that's basically like Swiss cheese without Lane Johnson. And he knew he was going to get sacked, but he's going to sit back there, and he's going to wait and wait and wait. Yeah, he probably should have thrown it away, but at the same time, kid's trying to make a play, and I'm not going to fault him for that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, he stepped up, and it is actually a sad realization of with this team that your only playmaker on offense is your 23-year-old rookie quarterback.
I don't even know what to say to that, Sean, because you're absolutely right.
It was at one point in the game he almost completed a pass to himself.
I saw that. I absolutely saw that. And one of the things that has really impressed me about the kid is he throws a lot better on the run than I thought he was going to.
The play that he threw to Aguilar that obviously got called back,
right?
But when he rolled to his left,
what else is no?
Stepped up and then he hit. He was falling to the left and floated it to the right. That was that's a Pro Bowl caliber type of throw.
Yeah, I mean, we saw him make plays against the Steelers where he rolled out and he got away from pressure, but he rolled out under control. We saw him make throws against Detroit and then against Washington, literally running for his life that were on the money. Mm-hmm. I mean, the flashes that you see from this kid, even in the losses, are tremendous.
Yeah, the play I always keep going back to, I probably watch it 10 times a week, was the play in the Lions game when he rolled out, told Matthews to go upfield, and instead of lobbing it over, he hit him back shoulder. That's just, that was like a Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers type of throw.
And it's not a throw you can teach.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's all instinct. It's instinct and performance.
Let me ask you guys, would you rather him be a gunslinger in terms of like a Favre-ish? I mean, you're talking about, he learned, it's better to take a sack than a pick, right? So would you rather, all things being equal, would you rather him be Favre-ish, where he's a gunslinger going to take chances, or would you rather see a little 5 that will always love you and see some of the balls thrown in the dirt that people used to think 5's accuracy was bad, but a lot of it had to do with not taking too many chances because you had a good defense? What would you rather see, or a little bit in the middle?
No, I was about to say, is the middle allowed to be an answer?
Yeah.
I want a quarterback that's going to take chances down the field, but then I also want a guy in the race that isn't just going to throw a punt to Brian Dawkins.
Well, I'll tell you what, that Detroit game, the last drive, throwing the ball 50 yards down the field on first down, to me, that is a little bit of gunslinger.
But I will say this, though. I was pissed at that throw when it first happened. But then, I watched the play from all the different angles that came out after. That was the right throw on that play.
I went on record in multiple spots with this on social media. I don't think that interception was his fault.
Oh, no. Aguilar got pulled down.
He made the throw. So, obviously, you're going to put it on the quarterback. But if you go back and you watch the all-22 from the high angle and you watch Aguilar, his spacing from the sideline is horrible. He winds up running almost right up the numbers when he's supposed to be running a go. So he's come too far into the center of the field. So he takes Wentz's throwing angle away. So Wentz basically has to just drop that thing right over the top. There's no angle for him at all. He puts it out there. Aguilar doesn't think that the ball's coming. So he slows down his route and gives up on the play. And then all of a sudden the ball's in the air. Well, he's got 4.3 speed, so sure, he closes the ground. But then he doesn't stop and make the right play on the ball. Because at some point, your instinct has to kick in, and you got to say, you know what? I'm not catching this, but I'm not letting him catch it either.
Exactly.
Even if you have to take an offensive pass interference penalty and tackle the DB to keep that from being an interception, you got to do it.
You still live to fight another day.
Exactly.
No, I completely agree with that. But, that's the same thing. In my head, when I watched that live the first time, I was like, what are you doing?
What are you
doing? And then you said the all-22, the high angle. You saw him. Jordan Matthews was doubled to the left.
Right.
Josh Huff, or it was either Josh Huff or DGB.
I think it was DGB.
To the right, again, guy all over him. And then you look at Aguilar. He actually has Slay beat. And then the safety has
the safety was late.
And the safety has his back turned. So Wentz made the right decision with the throw. It just you got to hope that it's just, again, lack of playmakers on this team.
And if I'm convinced that if Aguilar takes that pattern and he stays outside the numbers and just gives Wentz some kind of angle to throw the ball, worst case scenario, it's an incompletion.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I kind of had a problem. I think if you're going to run that type of play, I think DGB has to be the guy running that route. And I did see that's the only positive I've seen out of Doug Peterson on Sunday was the fact that he looked like he tried to get DGB more involved in the game.
Agreed. I think the reason that you have Aguilar running that route is because he's the fastest of their wide receivers. But if you noticed this past Sunday, Jordan Matthews ran that route.
Yeah.
So, maybe it's not necessarily the speed guy that needs to run that route. It's just got to be the guy who runs the route the right way.
Effort guy, yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. Tommy, you and I talked a little bit over the course of the week, and the one thing that I had said on Sunday night was, everyone's pissed off that Lane Johnson got suspended and Wentz went 11 for 22, which, I'm sorry, 11 for 22. The early days of Donovan McNabb, I seem to remember more than one 9 for 30, 9 for 28.
Right. And not to mention he had every defensive. He had Kerrigan in his face every play.
I'm not going to be pissed about the quarterback play. I'm going to be more pissed about the running game or lack thereof.
I'm about to say,
outside of a couple plays.
I was more mad at the play calling. Because coming into the game, you had the Redskins, the 30th ranked run defense in the league, and you saw early in that game Ryan Matthews was breaking runs off. But again, they don't get Barner involved. They don't get Smallwood involved.
But once you're down, it's tough.
No,
you know what I mean?
You're right. But
once you're chasing, guys, this is what and this is just real. I took it up with other guys earlier. It's easy to Monday morning quarterback.
Oh, you're right.
But it's tough when you're down. You know this.
Yeah.
Like you're down in this football game, so now you got to play catch up. Mm-hmm. Now you got lucky and. You tied it back. You tied it back at 14, but your defense was on the field all day. Mm-hmm. So when you got the ball on offense, you start pressing a little bit to try to make plays and expand your playbook a little bit and take shots because you feel like you're playing from behind, even though it's 14-14.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you guys a quick question.
I think it was Ralph Dalvecchio bitching and moaning about not running the ball enough, and I'm like, not running the ball enough. You only ran about 50 offensive plays. There's not enough. The other team ran 70-something on you. When you're not on the field, it's tough to control the clock and stick to your guns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's not just Peterson. That's a lot of coaches in this league.
But that shows like the rookie head coach. He's like, all right, trying to make something happen instead of sticking to his plan. I understand Ralph's point, but I think he's a little misguided in the way that he's making the point. And let me ask you this: like, when you're in the NBA, when you want to get a shooter going, what do? Feed him.
You feed him. You give him the rock. So the Eagles get the ball first on Sunday. You got a rookie offensive tackle in that game. First 3 plays should have been run right, run right, run right. You got to give him the rock basically. And you have to get him in what we'll call an aggressive position. Mm-hmm. Obviously, pass blocking, you stand up, you're moving backwards. You're on the defensive. But if you could get Vaitai into the flow of the game by running 3 run plays right behind him, even if they lose yards and wind up punting, which is what they did anyway.
Yeah.
If you get him into the flow of the game early, and more importantly, you get Kerrigan to back off a half step because he realizes they're going to be running the ball at him, you make things a little easier for the kid. And then that goes, Tommy, to your point, play calling. Now, we talked before my little hiatus there about Doug and, the hiccups of a rookie coach. And, he made it through the first 3 weeks with no hiccups. And I don't necessarily put Detroit on him. I put Detroit on Ryan Matthews fumbling the ball. The worst officiated game in the NFL in probably 5 years. But this one, I think you do have to lay a little bit on Doug for the play calling and the personnel decisions.
Well, what is Doug and everything that's happened with Big V? And you go back to the first play of the game, and I'm not taking a shot at it because I like aggressiveness. I'm a big fan of aggressive coaching.
Yeah.
You're not going to go in a game and be scared to play. Rookie quarterback not be aggressive, and it was they tried to get aggressive at the first play of the game. But who does he remind you of? Not catering to personnel.
Oh, it's Andy.
It's all over Andy. I mean, you got a rookie right tackle. Of course, during the week, you're gonna praise the kid. You're gonna say he's ready.
Yeah.
No head coach is gonna come out and say he's not ready. Okay, and you're not gonna bench him going in the next week as much as we want him bench.
Yeah.
You're just not going to do it to a kid's confidence. You're going to give him another shot. But the not adapting to your personnel offensively against the Redskins reminded me so much of Andy. And I don't have a big problem with it because this is NFL players too. So devil's advocate of it is, listen, man, you're an NFL player.
Right.
I can't cater my whole game plan to you. If you can't hold up one-on-one, maybe you're not an NFL player. But most fifth-round goddamn draft picks are number one or NFL players.
Right.
Damn it. And Howie Roseman, fuck you. Because you knew you're going to come out and take a shot at Lane Johnson, which we all do. Because Lane's a freaking idiot. He's selfish, and anybody who calls himself $25 million, like Zach Burr says, is a moron, okay? But you notice it. You said to yourself, Lane Johnson should just taking the suspension, right? Should just take the suspension because he knew he was going to get suspended anyway, right?
Yeah.
Howie, you didn't know this in August and July.
Yeah.
And you did nothing about it. You traded Eric Rowe for a supposed tackle in return or a guy who could play everyone on the line, and you didn't even get it back. And Eric Rowe's starting in New England. So I had no problem with the Rowe trade. None of us did when we thought we were getting an offensive lineman
got
back.
a 4th-round pick in exchange for a 2nd-round player.
So this is on Howie Roseman. And he made a lot of great moves this offseason, guys. And what he got back from Bradford is fleece stuff to me, okay? It's Sam Hinkie-ish. Trust the process. Trust the Jew. Whatever. But he dropped the ball on this. And you can't, and this is him going back to the way this is his Andy Reid in him too, and his Joe Banner, where you plug and play. Not everybody's New England.
Yeah.
Okay? Not everybody drafts a 5th-round guy and he comes in, next thing you know, he's a Pro Bowl right tackle. Okay? So you should address this, and you're going to take shots at your right tackle, rightfully so, but I'm going to take a shot right back at you, Howie. How'd you not address it? And that's what I want to ask you guys.
You knew
because right tackles, like Mark Eckel said, we all know right tackles, left tackles don't grow on trees when he was on with us. We know this. But there was more options out there than the big vagina.
Let me ask you this: how do you guys feel about this whole theory that they wouldn't move Alan Barbary out there and put Stefan Wisniewski in the lineup because they were afraid that it was going to weaken two positions?
Well, Stephen Wisniewski shouldn't be on your football team
Somebody
either.
say that's
right.
They either hate Wisniewski or they really believe in Big V, and after Sunday, I'm leaning towards they just don't like Wisniewski.
Either way, it's a problem because for me,
maybe they could put Jason Kelsey at tackle. He sure as hell can't play center.
Wisniewski's a guy who's been in this league for years now, and he started on good teams. I got no problem with them putting Wisniewski at guard and sliding Barbary out to tackle.
Yeah.
Especially if you know.
It literally can't be any worse.
Right, and especially if you know it's going to be for 10 games where you guys, your offense can get into a rhythm with these guys. It's not going to be, for half of football.
No, you're right. Real quick, Robbie, go ahead. We got YouTube comments flying in here.
The debate that your all fellows are causing, stirring the pot here on YouTube and Facebook for that matter. We got Matt Lewis chiming in, listening to them, getting mad about the past week. This is funny as hell. How about that offense not helping Wentz out at all? He's a rookie. They got to help him out more than that he's had a rough week. And they run the ball because they don't have a receiver. Over on Facebook, we got Christopher Edwards chiming in. Definitely learn from the losses and future interceptions. He's a stud, but still a rookie with no right side protection. The Birds must be more disciplined and cut back on the penalties. 2 games in a row with 100-plus yards and penalties, not going to win that way.
I was my man stole my thunder there because one of the points that I had bookmarked was double digits in penalties for more than 100 yards in 2 straight games. And that's after a bye.
Yeah.
You're supposed to use the bye week to clean this shit up, not make it worse.
They went to the bye week and forgot how to play and forgot how to tackle.
We're going to get into this in 1 second, but J-Man chiming in saying, "What's up, Sean?" Justin Moore, it's a buddy of yours. I hit him back with "What's up?" Thanks for chiming in, J-Man. And you can get in on the chat.
Birthday bitch over here.
Birthday bitch. But, listen. This is the way you have to look at the last 2 weeks. And I'm sticking to my 10-6. And I don't waver, and I'm not going to waver until they give me a reason to waver. You know what I mean? Right now,
I'm not 3-7.
Yeah, I'm not going to waver right now. And listen, if I wavered, I'd be a fraud like the guys on the dial. But I'm not going to waver from it because at the end of the day, you look at these past 2 weeks, you're undisciplined. You can't play any worse football than in terms of penalties the last 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And in both games, It's one-possession football game.
I had the conversation with the Duke last night.
I feel like I can take something away from that, right?
I'm talking to the Duke last night.
The Duke? I love the Duke.
The Duke's telling me 9-7. I said to him, I'm like, Duke, they lost 2 games and they were in both of them right up until the very end. I'm like, last year when they lost, they got schmizzled.
Yeah.
Now, they're losing and they're games that
It's still there.
Games that you feel like they're getting killed. Because you're looking at the game flow.
You're saying over in the first quarter.
Yeah,
This is a wrap.
the game flow is telling you that they should be down 13, 17 points. And all of a sudden, you look up in the fourth quarter, and there you are.
But that's what I think.
This is a different team.
I'm about to say, that's what I think the biggest difference is from last year to this year is this team has no quit in them. They're going to keep going at it for the rest of the
Well, listen, boys. You know what? Who's the first thing to go? Right, the first thing that goes always the coach.
Yeah.
Right, always the coaching staff. The next thing that goes who? The players. So if we
better not be that quarterback.
Yeah, if we sit here and don't think that these guys don't know this, right? Because what we saw the last 2 weeks, besides staying in the football game and showing some fight, we saw a lot of them bad trending tendencies that we were seeing the last 3 years under Chip Kelly. Like we talked about before we came on, getting gashed in the run game.
Yep.
No adjustments. Them kind of things. So not offensively as much defensively is it you see some of the similar things that make you scared because I'm thinking to myself, well, this defense always starts hot and then they would start to fade and fade some more. So them knowing, hey, Billy Davis is gone. Jim Schwartz is in. The next guy to go isn't Jim Schwartz. The next guy to go is a personnel on this defense. So it is looking the mirror time for these guys, so they better fight. And that's where I'm not saying that's where you're getting the fight from, but Doug Peterson also bringing a culture back in here that's real NFL football again, too, boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As much as I like Chip, and I'm not a Chip apologist by any stretch, but I thought he was innovative, and I thought he could do some things. But once you lose locker rooms, and once guys don't respect
there's no turning back.
there's no turning back. And he lost the locker room here. And guess what? He's coaching a terrible football team in San Fran, so I can't even look at that.
He gets a free pass.
But what did Chip Kelly show you guys? Coaching doesn't win. Talent wins. When they were loaded with talent, any offense is going to work. When you got Shady and J-Mac and Deshaun.
Nick Foles was having a
career year.
So, you know what I mean? And then guys, don't get me wrong, then the tape got out and the talent dwindled.
And Chip never adjusted either.
Well, the talent dwindled because you thought, it was almost Andy-ish in a way. Well, forget all the talent.
Yeah.
My system's bigger and better and everything. Well, listen, you can beat Bill Belichick when you have Tom Brady and say, well, I can plug and play and my system works when you got 12 back there. You know what I mean? It's different.
Yeah.
Different strokes for different folks. And that's how I look at it. So that's what concerns me is the getting gashed in the run game. Because like we talked about, Mike, I like Jordan Hicks. Sean, you like Jordan Hicks. We all do.
Yeah.
But in a wide 9, your linebackers have
you
to be able to tackle.
You got to have somebody that's going to come up and bust somebody in the mouth.
But it's not even a matter of...
We don't have any linebackers that do that, though. Michael Kendricks is another one.
Right, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not even necessarily a matter of can they tackle, because you got to be in position to make a tackle before you can tackle. These guys are not getting off blocks right now, and that's the thing that concerns me. Now, all the credit in the world to Jay Gruden, because if there's one thing that guy can do, he can create a run-blocking scheme like nobody's business. So, more power to him for figuring out the birds were going to come out. They're going to run their wide 9, and if he could pull a tackle and a guard, have the guard come through and clear the hole, and then have the tackle come through and hit the linebacker and drive that second level up the field, well, then he was going to create big holes for the running game, and that's exactly what they did.
Matt Lewis chiming in again. How do we lose to the Lions? And you know what, Matt? It's gonna segue right into something, and it's going to segue into our Vikings-Eagles little preview here. But how do you lose to the Lions? I'll tell you how you lose to the Lions.
Any given Sunday.
Well, any given Sunday is the NFL, but twofold. You're 3-0.
Yeah, you're coming off high.
You got the whole bye week where everybody's patting you on the goddamn back. You're the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Wake up in the morning,
smelling
like Axe body spray.
Yeah, you just beat the brakes off of the AFC's number 1 team at the time. Like, you were just riding high. Yeah,
you're smelling yourself. You come back and you come out flat to start the game off, and next thing you know, you're in a dogfight and essentially it becomes too late, and then you cough the game up. So I think a lot of it they were smelling themselves, and then you would hope that they would bounce back against Washington, but you came out really similar. And that's what's scary, because that's 2 straight weeks of starting slow. And we talked about this football team, and I think we can all agree that this is a football team that they get the lead on you, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
Because then they can pin back the wide 9 works, but The wide 9 will get gashed if you're playing from behind.
But that's
because
why
you're gonna get the ball pounded down your throat.
This Sunday is where you're gonna find out a lot.
Somebody really disliked the YouTube video. Go fuck yourself.
You're gonna find out.
It's the same troll that does it to every show on here. Get a life, buddy.
Yeah, get a life.
What's his name?
You can't look it up.
Nah,
They
they
hide behind the keyboard.
They hide behind it. Them
Keyboard
freaking
bullies.
flakes.
But this Sunday, you're gonna
Can I
find
call
out
somebody
a
else?
lot about Jim Schwartz.
Yeah.
Because the past 2 weeks, teams have adjusted around the wide 9 with the zone runs, the quick screens, and draws. He's going to have to find a way to scheme around that.
I'll tell you what, Sean, I'm going to respectfully disagree with you, and we'll get into it more as we go on. I'm not, and I know it's the NFL, you're never supposed to look ahead. I'm actually a hell of a lot more worried about Dallas than I am Minnesota. Because Jerick McKinnon and Matt Asiata don't do shit for me.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. That's the only reason.
I worry about Minnesota on the defensive side of the ball, not the offensive side.
I think this game is going to be a 6-3, a 10-7 game.
Well, let me throw some numbers.
Sam Bradford's going to have to be the guy to beat you
yeah.
Sunday, and I don't see it having it in him.
So we're talking about, we're evaluating Carson Wentz, and we're looking at the evolution of a quarterback. So if before the season you would have had someone come to you and not tell you what the Birds' record was, nor tell you who the quarterback was, and just tell you that the quarterback's numbers were 102 for 157 at 65%, 1,186 yards, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, with a quarterback rating of 99.9. Would you have taken that through your first 5 games? Is there any part of that you have a problem with? You're not looking at the win-loss record. You have no idea who the quarterback is. You get those numbers on a blind line. Are you happy with that quarterback performance?
I don't know. It would depend how we're winning the games or how we're losing them.
But you don't know. All you're doing is you're saying through 5 games, you have a quarterback who's hitting 65% for almost 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception. Through 5 games. I'm going to look at that line and say 7 touchdowns, 1 interception. I'm leaning towards the team having a winning record.
He's not losing us games.
Right, I'm leaning towards the team having a winning record. Now, I don't know if they're 5-0, 4-1, 3-2, but that line tells me that your team probably has a winning record. To me, that's a Sam Bradford line. And if that's a Sam Bradford line that you're getting from Carson Wentz, who played 1/2 of football in the preseason, I'm taking that all day. All day. Tommy, what do you think?
Who is it?
It's Carson Wentz.
What was it again? Shoot again. I'm sorry. I'm
That's
in the YouTube chat over here.
It's 102 for 157. It's 65%, 1,186 yards.
65% I'm in.
All right.
That's all I need to hear.
1,186 yards, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception.
All day.
All day.
65% I'm in. If you tell me my quarterback's throwing 65%, I'm in. Because he complete a lot of balls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then no, it's a rookie with 65%. Listen, they got to get back, and we're going to take a break here in a second, but they got to get back to quick screens, bubble screens, short passes, getting the ball out of his hands quick. Now, I understand adjustments happen.
Yeah.
But, I'm all down for taking shots, but I thought that what I really liked about Doug's play calling, which reminded me a lot of Andy, was short passes early on in the game, which then brought everybody
Put the
up,
kid in great
and
position.
then you take your shots. Yeah. Now, did I like his first play call against Washington? Hell yeah. Play action, try to take a shot. But listen, you got the big vagina going up against the Pro Bowler and Ryan Kerrigan. So, you got a chip or something there. I don't know.
I think they need more Wendell Smallwood. I think if you have that threat of an explosive back in your backfield, it's going to open up a lot more options for you on the outside.
Well, the worldwide leader of horse shit with their next-gen stats, he was the fastest player at that highest speed at 22.5 miles an hour on Sunday.
On the kickoff return?
Faster than Brandon Cooks, who was about, I think Wilson said, like 21 or something like that. So obviously he's the fastest guy on your football team. And that's all I need to know. Get the kid the football.
You saw it
Get
one
him the
game.
football.
You played him one game, and that was against the Steelers, and you saw he got the ball, a snap of the finger, he was in the safeties at the second level. Yeah, he's a bona fide playmaker, and Ryan Matthews, isn't cutting it, and I don't understand why back-to-back weeks we haven't. Not even just Wendell
Slow.
Smallwood.
He's
Why
slow,
haven't
Sean.
Why haven't you seen Kenyon Barner?
Listen, I'm not an apologist for the guy. I'm not dating his
Right.
I'm not dating his mother like some people here. Okay, so I'm not no goddamn apologist. Listen, this guy, I don't even care. I'm going to say this guy came into these goddamn studios and actually tried to be an apologist for him and said, "Don't ever tell anybody this." But Ryan has trouble carrying the ball in his right arm. And he told the coaches, "Don't run me to the right." Listen, genius, this is the NFL. If you haven't learned to carry the ball in your right hand by now, see you later. If you haven't learned to carry the ball with two hands, see you later. I don't want to hear that apologist type shit.
I love it.
Because you're banging his mother.
Get him, Tommy,
Peter
get
Pan.
him.
Grow up, okay? Grow up. Take the vagina out of your mouth and call it how you see it. It's a terrible fumble. It can never happen. You can't make excuses for it. The guy looks slow right now.
He doesn't look slow. He is slow.
And at the end of the day, now I understand Ezekiel Elliott's number 4 pick in the draft, all the talent in the world. But the thing that we talked about for months and months, Mike, and as long as you know me and you've agreed, Robbie knows this, Sean, rookie running backs don't have the learning curve. And guess what? You have fresh legs. I'm going to give them the ball as much as possible because they have the fresh legs. Take advantage of that before they get worn down 5 or 6 years into their career.
I don't care if the kid doesn't know the playbook. You get him in the huddle and you call the play.
You're running through that hole.
If you're exactly, Sean. No, you're right on it. Because if you're Carson Wentz, you get in the huddle and you call the play. I don't care if you have to go to Smallwood and say, run left, run right, run up the middle. If you have to come back to him and just tell him which side he's taking the ball off of and where to run, I don't give a shit. Because the guy just has that much explosiveness that he could be the entire key to your offense, and he's only seen extended action in one freaking game.
And all he did with that was run for a touchdown at 78 yards on about 8 carries.
Yeah.
That's all.
Your theory with Smallwood, I had the exact same theory with DGB. Everybody's like, dude, he's dumb. He's the most talented receiver you have on your roster. Get him in the huddle and tell him what the hell he's running. I don't care if he knows the play.
I'll tell you what, though.
Listen, talent wins. They can be dumb. Most football players are dumb.
I agree with you.
Christ.
There's a reason why they signed up to get their head smashed.
I'm a little concerned with DGB right now that he might be a little soft. He didn't take a hit very well. Like, he kind of shies away from the contact. But he's a wide receiver. He's a little bit of a prima donna, so I'm not going to kill him for it now.
I love his stiff arm.
But the stiff arm,
Dude,
I was just going to say, the stiff arm makes up for the fact that he's not willing to take the hit.
Listen, you get grown men to football, right? To Sean's point, that's a grown man. You see him out there, that's a specimen. I mean, he's built like T.O.
He's T.O.,
and he's not. We know he's not T.O.
Yeah.
But get him the football because what happens? You start feeding the kid the football. He's only in his second year. Confidence starts going. Mm-hmm. So many people are crushing Aguilar and crushing DGB. These are both their second years. Listen, it's an adjustment period. Now both of them are brand new offenses again. Guys, I understand that their first round, not DGB, but Aguilar,
he would have been without off the field issues.
But I understand they're both first round talents. But we all know this for a lot of wide receivers outside of Odell Beckham and the real special ones. A lot of them, it takes a few years to get going sometimes because now you got to remember you're coming. Nelson Aguilar was hurt last year for a majority. Now he comes back fresh this year. But what happens? A brand new system again. So now it's almost like a rookie curve again for him and DGB. So I can deal with some of their mistakes.
A lot of people
but we don't know for a fact that these guys aren't open as much people saying they're not open either.
No, a lot of people are hating. I don't really have a problem with what I'm seeing out of Aguilar so far this year. I've seen him go up and get a couple contested balls. It seems like he's always has a couple steps on the defender. No, I don't have a problem.
No, it's like we talked about that interception against Detroit. Yeah. For me, he needs to clean up the route running a little bit. I don't think, it's funny because I don't think he's running the wrong routes. I just think he needs to clean it up.
But I think everybody sees
the speed and the talent.
Exactly,
you see some of the catches he has in traffic.
But the problem
some of Aguilar's catches, you're like, that's some good hands, right?
It's not.
Am I seeing that myself, or are you guys seeing that?
It's not Aguilar's fault. I think it's because people see the Odell Beckhams, the Amari Coopers, the guy that's coming to the league and dominate right away, and they're expecting that out of Aguilar because he's a first-round pick.
I'm not comparing either one to Calvin Johnson at all by any stretch. Trust me on this. But that guy took a year. You know what I mean? That guy didn't. Most guys don't come in and catch for 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns. Most guys you can get 400, 500 yards. Adjustments. Now, listen, we need more. Okay, we can all agree on we need more, but I'm not ready to write them both off because I've seen them. I've seen flashes.
Yeah, you've seen the potential. Yeah,
I've seen flashes. So, real quick, Addison Russell with a 2-run shot.
Oh.
It's Matt Lewis chiming in for us. Also, hashtag Dallas sucks, which I love. Let's see. It's Caster Green chiming in. Ryan Matthews never recovered from the concussion last year. Listen, Ryan Matthews never recovered from any of the injuries he had. Some guys are just, they are who we thought they are.
Yeah.
Right? And Ryan Matthews, guy's always banged up. That's who he'll always be. Does he have talent? Yeah. But I'm ready to get the kids to rock. I'm ready to sit them down. I want to burst. I want some speed. I want game changers in my backfield. I don't want guys 4 yards in a cloud of dust. That doesn't win anymore. All right? It just doesn't win anymore. The old power running game is out. All right? I need speed.
I'll tell you what.
I need speed.
Trade deadline in the NFL is week 8.
Ooh, here's a good question. Go ahead.
I might be offering Ryan Matthews in a 3rd-round draft pick to Cleveland for Joe Thomas.
See, that's what. See, no, I'd be okay with that.
That's some creative fucking thinking right there.
I would be okay with that.
But
But I've had people that I've listened to on the radio call up. All right, that 1st-round pick we got from Minnesota is going to be too far back to get anybody good. Let's just send that to Joe Thomas.
No,
I'm like, you're going to trade a 1st-round pick.
Worth a first-round draft pick.
You're going to trade a 1st-round pick for a 32-year-old tackle?
No.
Like, I'm okay with that. You're giving over a 3rd-round pick of Ryan Matthews for that. I'm all for that. But if you trade the people that are calling up and saying 1st-round pick,
no, absolutely not.
asinine.
And all these people that want to, Joe Thomas is a left tackle. He could never move to the right side. He's not better than Vaitai. And your left tackle, by the way, has, 9 games left on his contract?
Yeah.
And he hasn't stayed healthy for a full season in 3 years? You go out, you get Joe Thomas, you play him on the right side, then when Peters walks, you move him over to the left.
Everybody's starting with like the impatient. Not saying like
I don't
that.
do it. I don't
see
do it.
like that makes sense.
I don't trade for a 32-year-old
But like I've
tackle.
heard people like again, people are
Tommy hasn't missed a game in
People
years.
are
I understand that, but he's 32 years old. You're going to give up. Cleveland's going to want a lot for him. They're not going to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't give up the farm, but if you think you're ready to part ways with Ryan Matthews because you got Smallwood and Barner, and you're just going to give him Ryan Matthews and a 3rd or a 4th, I don't give them anything higher than a 3rd.
But that's not their MO. This is Moneyball now. They want picks
Cleveland,
and more picks.
Cleveland's gonna
So who we're dealing with is not a normal football guy. We're dealing with a guy who thinks picks are all that matters. So he's going to want a couple.
Yeah,
now,
but
to your point,
he's running Duke Johnson Jr. out there behind
listen,
Crowell.
if I can get Joe Thomas for a 4th-round pick or a 3rd-round pick, sign me up. But they're going to want a one.
Well,
I know they're going to want. To your point, because again, he's always healthy. He's a mainstay at left tackle. He's a monster. So why would they?
They hold all the cards.
Right, but here's the thing: is he's already told them his contract expires after next year. He's already told them he's not re-signing there. He doesn't. So the question is, what are they going to get? Are they going to get more for him this year or next year when he's basically in the walk year? I actually think if you're Cleveland right now and you're 0-5 and you know that you've got a guy who's told you a year and a half in advance he's not re-signing, if you could get a running back the caliber, and I use that in air quotes,
name
value of Ryan Matthews and a 3rd, you got to really think about that. Even though it may not be exactly what you think he's worth, you're not going to get better than that.
Especially next year when teams look at it as we may only have this guy for one season.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, you know what? It doesn't hurt to pick up the phone and kick the tires. Because they picked up the phone and kicked the tires with Minnesota, and they somehow wound up fleecing the shit out of them.
But that's where the roles are reversed this time.
Yeah,
though.
now you're going to get fleeced.
The Eagles held the power with Bradford.
Right, but that's the thing, though, was the Eagles were the ones who initiated the conversation. If you're the one who's initiating the conversation, you can always say no. And that's the thing, is that if Cleveland asks too much, you just say no and you walk away. It's not like you're being forced to make that deal.
How about you just start, how about Matt Tobin just starts at right tackle? I mean, I'm not like, no, I mean, I'm being real for this.
I'm with you.
I know the guy's turnstile Tobin, he stinks, but at least he started in this league before. And I'm going to, if the big vagina comes out and gets dominated again this week, which could very well happen.
You have to be done with him.
Then you have to take that next step. And then you have to start making your phone calls.
Admittedly, the kid was better in the second half than he was the first half.
But I think that was also because they had him chipped every play.
He had a lot of help in the second half.
And that takes away from a team's game plan, though, when you got to keep a tight end in every play to help your tackle.
Well, you're absolutely right. I think the piece that I think the Eagles got caught on with that on Sunday is too often it was Ertz who was the tight end who stayed into chip because they didn't want to give away pass run by always lining Selleck up over there. At that point, I don't give a shit if you know pass run. I'm putting Selleck next to him, and I'm going to line Ertz up in the slot on the other side, and I'm going to put probably my third best receiver in the pattern. Now, him with the big drop at the 5-yard line, that's another,
that was a walk-in
it's another
touchdown,
story for another time. Everybody has their drops. Shit happens. If it becomes a pattern, then we're going to have to address it. Wentz was a little high, a little hot. He took the blame. I'm willing to just let that go and say, okay, fine, it was what it was. He needs to make a play for his quarterback, though.
Oh, yeah, 100%. That ties the game. You're probably talking OT at that point.
Yeah.
All right, great. So, listen, on the other side, we'll give her predictions, Eagles, Vikings. And one guy here thinks it's a lock of the week. Put your mortgage on it. We'll let you know on the other side.
That stone cold lead pipe cinch.
Stone cold lead pipe nails lock of the week. This is Tom.
Mike.
AM.
In the PM.
Right here at a2dradio.com. And this segment was brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC, your certified public accountant. You can find them on the web, gibsonmayer.com. Also, BMW Atlantic City, we're off exit 37 on the Parkway. Find them online, BMW of AtlanticCity.com.
What's that?
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
You're listening to Tom and Mike, AM in the PM, here on A2DRadio.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Some fucking baby making music, boys. Say
Yeah, that
hello.
was funky.
Say hello, ladies and gentlemen.
You like that?
Mike,
AM.
I'm about to get some PM.
The worldwide leader of Real Talk, ATDRadio.com. Tom Arnone, Michael Mataraki, Sean Redden, Rob Povey on the ones and twos. Talking a lot of birds on a Wednesday night, every Wednesday night. We are brought to you by Gibson Mayer, LLC, your certified public accountant. Find them on the web, gibsonmayer.com. Or just, as Chad Kelly, like the quarterback for Ole Miss, maybe try to get a date on Pornhub after this music, right? Get yourself a little Pornhub, guys. Don't click off the stream. Have our voices going, but treat I don't know where the fuck I'm going with this. Okay.
You know what, though?
We're going to circle back.
Chad Kelly, God forbid you, hit up a porn star on Twitter one
Take
time.
the first L.
Yeah. You hit up a porn star on Twitter one time and your whole world comes crashing down around you.
It's just unbelievable.
He's actually making out of it, though, because now Pornhub is offering him a date with a porn star.
Well, you saw what happened when Florida State got boat raced a couple weeks ago. Mia Khalifa was out there telling them that they need to stay out of her inbox.
Yeah.
Honey, there's been more people in your inbox than you could probably count. You'd be happy to have Florida State in your inbox.
Yeah, honey, your inbox is filled up.
And let me just differentiate.
Filled to the brim.
There
You
is
wanna differentiate?
yes, there is no such thing as a former porn star. You're either a porn star or you're not.
Yeah, I love that.
love it.
What about
They try to retire to Jersey. You can't retire to vagina from getting beat up.
Round
okay?
of applause for Mr. Povia.
What about Lisa Ann, though? She's like one of the biggest fantasy football analysts in the world right now.
Yeah, and she also wrote a book about how she
Love the pipe.
with NBA and NFL football players. So for her, it was a natural progression.
Now, if it's fantasy sports lover, she gets a pass, but she's still a porn star.
Yeah.
That is true.
That's what I'm saying. You don't retire the vagina.
Like,
It's always going to be beat up. Like you don't go to like your next boyfriend or husband, and all of a sudden you're not a porn star. Like he's going to know that you took a lot of pipe, and he's not going to like it. But
Well, look, hold on. Here's the thing with porn, though, and I'm gonna just throw this out there.
Yeah.
because
Throw it
here's-
against the wall.
Because here's the thing. So even if you quote unquote retire from porn,
Yeah.
and you're retired with your millions of dollars, living out there in Encino, California, or whatever it
Them
is, that
videos are still there.
number one, yeah, the videos don't ever go away. But number
Them
two,
highlight films.
at some point, the money does. And when the money goes away, what's the easiest thing for you to
Bend
do?
over, baby.
Go back to work.
Now you're
You
part
just
of
got
the.
to go back to work.
Now you're
will
part of the
somebody just
MILF
grab my
category.
hair for $20?
It's like a progression though, like high school, college. Like you start out like the teen, then you take the break, and then when your money runs out, you right into the MILF category, your big league.
Like, listen, when you get strangled and your hair pulled for so long, you don't run away from that. Like that stays with you forever. But our poll question,
The poll question.
like a little segue. Our poll question, you can vote on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. A2D Radio is where you can find us. The Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz will learn the most from 3 wins, 2 losses, scoring drives, interceptions. And it's brought to you by Scanzano Sports. Find them on the web, scanzanosports.com. And moving into our Eagles-Vikings preview is brought to you by the Sports Outlet located in Glendora, New Jersey. For all your sporting needs, find them on the web, sportsoutletinc.com. And Mike was saying losses. Sean, you were with the losses too. I spun it somehow in some way, saying the wins.
I liked it.
So we all had our take, and they're all spot on. Every take's right. There's no right or wrong really with this, because really, what's the kid's mental makeup, and can you police yourself? And that's the biggest thing. When you talk about the greats of all time, and I'm not going here, but I'm just saying the greats. Like I was thinking the other night, like how did Jordan just keep on winning? Like how do you
Right.
find it in yourself to go for 6? You know, when you have 2, how do you keep the motivation to go for 3? You always have to find this chip on your shoulder, and hopefully this kid. We didn't win shit yet,
Right.
But hopefully this kid has that inner policing of himself where he has a drive, and I think he does. I think he's a really smart kid.
Well,
I think he's a bright kid.
His
So
college program, 5 straight national titles.
yeah, comes from winning.
He's got 4 rings, and he was a key piece of 2 of them. So,
J-Man, I think J-Man's calling in right
I
now.
feel a lot of vibration on the table. What's going on up in
It was
here?
the music. J-Man, call back again, brother.
Yeah, he messaged me. It was like, "What can I call in the AM and the PM?" I was like, "I don't know. I just work here."
We got a lot of people chiming in, so we'll go real quick. YouTube. You know, a lot of people.
Yeah, hit us up on the YouTube chat.
It's Cash the Green. Cleveland can have our 2018 from Minnesota for Joe
Ooh.
Thomas.
Absolutely
Too
not.
much. Way
Too
too
much.
much.
J-Man, their first-round pick.
Too much.
Would you rather have Minnesota win the Super Bowl and we get their picks, or have them lose every game of the season and we get their first-round pick next draft? That's Matt Lewis. I believe, Matt, we get their first regardless.
We get the first regardless. It's that later pick.
If
It's a
they
later
make,
pick.
if right now it's a 4th. If they make the NFC Championship game, it's a 3rd.
If they make the Super Bowl,
it's a 2nd.
Yes.
Malakovic. That's how it is, Matt Lewis. That's how you say Greg's last name. He was getting on me at the cornhole.
Right.
When I butchered Greg's last name at Scanzano's.
Yeah.
They're playing a cornhole tournament. Listen, even the best struggle with Malakovic. Or
Leave
am I right?
leave the hard names to the English major.
Yeah, is it Malakovic?
It's Malakovic, yeah.
Yeah, how you doing? Look, I'm back in the Hall of Fame. I'm 3 for 4. But yeah, so Matt, so they do get Minnesota's first round pick this year. But that's that other 3rd or 2nd, depending on how far Minnesota goes, can turn into a 2nd, or it'll be a 3rd regardless, correct?
It's a 4th right now.
4th, 3rd, 2nd.
3rd if they make it to the NFC Championship game. 2nd if they make it to the Super Bowl.
Thanks, guys. This is why it's a team effort here. I'm reading things, trying to get everything locked in. Let's go to the phone lines real quick. We got J-Man on the mobile. J-Man, welcome in Tom and Mike AM in the PM, brother. How you doing?
Good. How about you guys?
Never had a bad day in my life besides a
Just wanna
couple
get your
Sundays.
opinion. What do the Eagles have to be?
Shoot again? What'd you say, Jay? I lost you. J-Man, you still there?
It's weird. It sounds like the line is open, but I can't hear him.
Yeah, he must
Yeah.
have dropped off.
Call
Call back,
back.
J-Man. We're here. So
I like callers like that, though. He just cut right to the chase.
right to the chase.
Yeah.
It's like, I got a question. I got a question. Boom.
I love it. Better than the dial callers.
Yeah.
Calling with their bullshit. So
And we don't even have to have our producer say, don't ask the guys how they're doing.
well, I told him I never had a bad day in my life besides a few Sundays. And that's usually after Eagles losses. Besides that, my life's phenomenal. I'm going to sell that. Let's check in on the Cubbies real quick. Still got 4-0. Let's see. 4-0 Cubs. Bottom 4. 2 got first and second for the Dodgers. 2 down. So, damn it. Maybe the goat left.
So while we're waiting for J-Man to
Really wanted that goat to stick around. Here he
oh,
is.
there we go.
J-Man, you're back, brother.
What's up, guys? What do you guys think the Eagles have to be after they play the Bengals to make the playoffs?
Ooh, let me get to the schedule
don't
here,
even know
Jay.
the
That's a great
schedule.
question, brother. Look at you. Jesus, stumping the borderline baby Schwabs over here.
Well, the Bengals is what? Their 12th game?
I think it's sandwiched between the Packers and Seattle, right?
Well, see, here's the thing.
Freaking gauntlet.
Well, we had a conversation a few weeks back, and I was telling you that I was concerned about that Bengals, Packers, and Seattle gauntlet. I'll tell you right now, I'm not nearly as concerned right now today about the Bengals or the Packers.
I'm about to say the Seahawks is the only
The
game.
Seahawks is the only one that worries me now.
Even before the year, like I was worried about the Packers. I mean, you got Aaron Rodgers, you always got a shot. But I was never impressed with the Bengals to start this year. I thought all their weapons left. Besides A.J. Green, Jeremy Hill forgot how to run the ball.
7 games, including the Vikings, to the Bengals game. So it's a 7-game stretch. You're 3-2 right now.
So that would be game 12, right? 12 or 13?
It's week 13, so it'll be game 12
Game
for them.
12, all right.
I'd say you probably got to win.
They need to be at 7 wins. 4
Yeah, I
and
was
2.
gonna say you need to win at least 4.
4 and 2, Jamie.
I think we're all in agreement. They need to be 7-5 going into that game, or coming out of that game, I should say. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Jay, if they're 7-5 coming out of the Bengals, then you got Redskins, Ravens, Giants, Cowboys. So you have your gauntlet of 3 division games.
I think you beat the Ravens.
Yeah, you take care. You go 3-1 in that next stretch and take care of your division
That's
games.
10.
Where you at?
10-6.
Yeah, how you doing?
And I think that wins us. A lot of Cowboys are halfway there.
And here's the thing, too, is your Cowboys, Giants, Redskins, those last 3 division
That's
games.
what you got to win the division.
Right, but they're all at home.
Oh,
They have that weird stretch where their first 3 division games are all on the road, and then their last 3 division games are all at home. I'll take it.
Hey, Jay, what do good football teams do? They win in November, and that's what we're going to find out. They win when the weather gets cold, and that's what I'm looking forward to seeing, because this stretch is going to tell us, are we tank? When we don't have a pick, but are we tank or are we legit contender?
I honestly think we go 5-1 in this stretch.
Freaking love it. I love it.
It's aggressive.
I love it. I'm right with you.
I think we lose either to the Packers or the Seahawks. It's going to be one of those two. We fall off the upset in one of those games.
I'm right with you. I love it. I think so, too. This is a good football team right now. We're going to come out and we're going to beat the Vikings, and then it's going to be a love affair again. And then we go and we handle Dak and the boys in Dallas, and we got Dorial Green Beckham dancing on the star.
All right,
Then we're putting on goddamn nose.
here's my question for you, though. Tommy, I call you on this one, though, brother. You said before the season you thought that they were going to sweep the Redskins, and they would get splits with the Giants and the Cowboys. Well, if they go 5-1 in that stretch, that means they're dropping those 2 home games against Cowboys and the Giants at the end of the year.
I still think Dak's overrated, though, because he played Green Bay where they weren't expecting what Dak was going to bring to him. I think the Eagles are going to have a balanced running attack, and then they're going to rush. Hopefully Benny Logan's back by next week, which we can just send him and Brandon Graham off the line.
You know what I love about this guy? He looked right past Minnesota. He's on to Dallas already.
I love it. That's how we are. I mean, we're right on to the Cowboys. Screw the Cowboys. I don't think they're that good. Their defense will get exposed. There's going to be times where he's going to start throwing interceptions. He's not going to go this whole season without costly turnovers. It's going to happen. He's a rookie. Their defense, I like Byron Jones. I think converting him to safety was a genius move out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Morris Claiborne showed me a lot, but they're still weak up front. Their front 4 and 7 still weak. Sean Lee's a hit away from another concussion. We know this, but to your point, Mike, of me having them sweeping the Redskins, well, that's just going to change it up now.
Right.
Because now I have them because now things have changed.
They're going to have to sweep one of those 2.
Well, I got them. Listen, in the division, I'm either the way I'm looking at it, they're either 5-1 in the division or 4-2. That's sort of where I end up.
I think 4-2 wins the division, obviously.
Yeah, I still think they're going to be okay.
This season's setting up to be New Year's Day, 1 o'clock, Snowy Link, Cowboys, Eagles, winner take all division.
See,
game.
now you and I,
kids.
we're on the same page, but
We're
I'm
two
actually
rookies,
I'm dialing it back a step. I'm actually going week 15, Thursday night before Christmas. Giants. Wentz gets the win on national TV to clinch the division.
You get the Sheila face.
And then all you're playing for on New Year's Day is playoff seeding.
And Beckham bending over for the net.
I would love it because my nerves would be a wreck watching the Cowboys game, end of the year, winner take all.
But now, for me, that's obviously the perfect scenario,
right.
too. Lots got to go right. Most definitely.
What were you saying, Jay?
I think Dallas is going to go downhill from here. I can't see them stay on this track. They have too much of a track record of getting off to a good start and then tanking 8-8.
That's what Romo, though.
Well, I was going to say, Jay, here's a problem, though.
Well, isn't tanking contagious?
Dak and Zeke are the unknowns in this. You can't.
Dak's going to get happy in the pocket. Going to want to scramble, and somebody's going to hit him, and they're going to have to be more careful with Dak. I just don't think Dak can keep up his performance like he is.
But let me debate you here. What is the performance as it is? They're only asking him to.
Yeah, he's not really doing much.
They're only asking him to run a third of the playbook.
To not lose the game, yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're not. Dallas is already on the record as saying that they feel like Romo would give them the best chance to win because he can run the full offense. So for me, if Dak is only running a third of their playbook and they're playing this well, man, that's a little scary to me. And I'm not one of these people who looks at the Cowboys and goes, "Ooh, the Cowboys scary." But let's take off the eagle-colored glasses for a minute and let's just call a spade a spade. Kid's a good football player. I mean, he's a damn good football player. Now, can he be beat? Yeah, he can absolutely be beat. Everybody in this league can be beat. But if you don't think that the NFC East is going to be Carson, Dak, and Carson for the next 12 years, you got to think again.
But once they figure out how to stop Ezekiel Elliott, Dak's going to have to make the plays for him, and that's when I think he's going to crumble.
Well, see, that's the problem.
Who's going to stop him?
It's not about stopping Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, this is the best. That's the best offensive line. That's the best offensive line in football. You know what? Jay? That was scary. This is the same formula they had 2 years ago when they went to the playoffs.
Well, here's the thing, Tommy. To your point, 2 years ago, DeMarco Murray led the world in rushing. Last year,
jerk off.
Darren McFadden had a career season behind that offensive line, and now they have, again, the best running back in the NFL.
Even Joseph Randall's having a year.
Yeah.
And then he stole something.
I mean, the Dallas offense is no joke. What you got to do is you got to scheme to beat them, and you're going to have to outscore them.
That's what I think.
Right, though. You got to stack the box and force Dak to make plays to beat you.
And that's what he's doing right now. I mean, he's making them plays right now, but I still believe that their Achilles heel is that defense, and over time, they're going to get beat, and they're going to get beat because of that defense. I think their offense is good. I mean, they're doing this without Dez. Doing it with a baby Cole Beasley.
What they're going to do is they're going to lose some shootouts. They're going to lose like a 42-35 type of game. Well, listen, and it'll probably happen more than once.
Well, we talk about this, Jay, right? Everything's all hunky-dory there in Dallas right now. But there is their franchise quarterback looking over everybody's shoulder. Yep. All it takes is Dak to struggle a week or two, and you better believe Jerry's going to go back to Tony because Dak is going to struggle at some point. Oh, yeah. He's not going to be perfect all year. So when that time happens where he struggles, what Jerry Jones stands up, the real one or does Stephen Jones step in and say, this isn't happening?
It's not happening.
So that's going to be the telling tale on where the Cowboys season goes because guess what? Please bring Tony back. Actually, no, I don't want Tony back because Tony can play in this league. I want the rookie to continue to play because he's going to struggle at times. He's going to put them in inopportune spots with bad turnover. It's going to happen, guys. It's the league. That's how it goes.
Honestly,
they're not going 15-1.
The best thing that could happen to the Cowboys, and this is obviously from someone who is an admitted Cowboys hater.
Oh, right with you.
But the best thing that could happen to the Cowboys is for another team to lose their starting quarterback in the next week or two and ring Jerry Jones' phone and be like, hey, listen, you got the kid. He's obviously ready. What's it going to take to get Romo from you? Because we're on the brink of the playoffs. we need a quarterback to put us over the top.
I
Why
just
would
seen
any-
I'm about to say, I just seen a picture today, and it had the Tyrone Biggums, the crackhead from the Chappelle Show. Rob, I think, is the one that posted it, and he said, "So what you guys about to do with Tony Romo?" And it was coming from a Steelers fan because Big Ben's about to be out a month.
Yeah. But then,
And you know they can't do a month of Landry Jones.
no, but how do you do that? I mean, how do you go and bring Romo in with all that money when your franchise quarterback's coming back? I mean, he's not out for the year though, so listen. Tony Romo's not getting traded. I'll put that on the table right now because one, there's no suitor that's gonna give up enough to get him on what Jerry's gonna want back, and who wants him?
Yeah,
like who's gonna take the chance? The guy's another hit away from a bad back. He's had 2 back surgeries. I mean, I wouldn't listen.
Yeah.
There's nothing. I wouldn't give you a 7th round pick for him.
I could give you this scenario. I give you the perfect scenario. Belichick.
That's what I was gonna say. Outside of Tony Romo Tom Brady tearing his ACL, I don't think he gets traded because I think Romo could win in that offense.
Let's just
Could you imagine?
Why don't we trade for him?
I'll pass on that one.
Doug wants to sit the kid anyway. There you go, Doug. Jerk off.
I would have if Romo went to the Patriots and won. I would have, along with the Lombardi Trophy, I would have a bus right there. Right, I put him in while he's still coaching.
Yeah, it's true. It is
So,
true.
Here's the one informant for the Eagles. I think they have to score at least a touchdown on 2 touchdowns on offense and get 1 to 2 touchdowns from special teams or defense to win games. Because against Dallas, they're going to be able to score on that defense. It's about our defense stepping up, like Tom said, and stopping their offense.
He's still on the Dallas game. I love it.
It's a big game.
He started talking about two touchdowns on offense, 2 touchdowns on defense, and I'm sitting here going, there's not a snowball's chance in hell they're putting up 28 against Minnesota.
Yo, Jay, before we let you run, what's your prediction for this Sunday?
Prediction for this Sunday is 38-28. Trafford does a pick 6 with 2 minutes to go and win the game 35-28.
I love it. Look at him. Aggressive pick. I love it. I freaking flat out love it because nobody thinks it's the highest scoring game. You know how this league works. This is why Vegas is filthy rich.
If Wentz leads this team to 38 points against this Vikings defense,
what are you doing?
I'll never have to watch porn again.
Right, wait. I'll be jerking all 22 all night, baby.
NFL Network.
Hold on a second.
Boy, do I love Dion.
Hey, do we still have him on the line?
Yeah, Jay.
Jay, you still there?
Yeah.
How old are you, brother?
I'm 18.
18. Damn it! I was going to say to him, if the Birds put up 35 or more on Sunday against the Vikings, I would buy him a case of beer.
You still can.
No, I'm not going to do it.
Hey, listen, I'll do it for you, Jay.
Go ahead, you do it. I ain't going to the.
It's all about the youths of America.
I ain't going to the.
It's all about the kids.
I ain't going to the clink for contributing to the delinquency of a
I
minor.
sure as hell will because these ratings will skyrocket.
Yeah. We're trying to make America great again.
Yeah.
One drunk teenager at a time.
That's all. We'll get you an Uber too, Jay. You'll be good. We'll treat you good. Yo, brother, thanks for chiming in.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Go Birds. So, listen, I love it. You know why I like it? Because nobody in the world thinks it's a high-scoring game. We're going to get into predictions here in a second. But nobody does. No. And that's how this league works, though, guys. You've watched it long enough. Everybody's smelling Minnesota. But hold on. You guys go ahead. Give your picks out. Brought to you by BMW of Atlantic City. We're off exit 37 in the Parkway. Find them online. BMW of AtlanticCity.com. Mr. Redden, we'll start with you.
I'm loving what I'm hearing. I just can't buy into it right now. I know the line's telling me, but the Vikings lead the NFL in sacks. And you're telling me I got little V still playing right tackle.
Big vagina.
I'm going to say it's going to be a low-scoring game. I'll say 17-10 Vikings.
I'm a little concerned with the Vikings coming off the bye. They're getting healthy. They're rested. That said, Birds got to get back on the winning track. They're going to figure something out. But I'm looking for a real sloppy, real low-scoring game. I'm saying 17-13 Birds.
I like where your head's at. I like where both your heads at. But let me tell you something. I don't give a rat's ass if I go out on a goddamn limb and nobody ever listens again. Because this is what it's about. This is a stone-cold lock of the week. Everybody in America has the Vikings winning this football game. Everybody thinks Minnesota's winning. The Eagles are no good anymore. Now Wilbon's saying that Carson Wentz is overrated, right? And this is what happens in this league. So where's all the money going? So Vegas comes out with a line, starts at 1.5, now it's at 2.5. What does the line at 2.5 tell you? They're begging you to take Minnesota.
They
all have to do
begging
is
you
win by
to take
3.
Minnesota.
So guess what? I'm loading the mortgage up on the Birds. I'll tell the wife we gotta live in the street for a month. It's no biggie, but if we win, then we're talking some maybe a nice hotel room. Load up.
Little trip to Sizzler.
And I'm changing my score too.
Penthouse.
What's the freaking great hotel? You know what I'm talking about. My Lord. Oh my Lord. What is it called? The greatest hotel you can stay at.
What,
the Hilton?
No, not the Hilton. It's bigger than the Hilton. Step up.
The W?
No, come on.
The Plaza?
I don't know.
What city are
Rob,
we
look up
talking?
great hotels. Best hotels in America.
What city are you talking
Well,
about?
there's one in Sarasota, right by the water. Oh my God.
Wardolph Astoria?
We're gonna get to this.
There you go.
Jesus Christ. Damn it. Ruin the whole thing. I mean, you know what I mean? But listen, I think it's a lock. I really do. Just because everybody's got the Vikings. Everybody thinks the Vikings are winning.
You're just going to take her to Trump Tower. I know you.
Did you hear that? The Dodgers?
Yeah, they won't.
Gonzalez refused to stay with the team.
They won't stay at a Trump-owned hotel.
No, they're idiots.
Yeah, well, the guy's Mexican. What would you do?
He's already here. Calm down, Adrian.
Speaking of baseball, a little score update. Anthony Rizzo hits a solo shot top of the 5th. Cubs are up now 5-0.
Roll
Ball
job.
game.
Somebody's riding the billy goat. All right. So,
Finally,
But
Rizzo showing up.
How much of a boss is Kaminsky?
baller. I love it.
Frank
and then
the Tank.
they were going back and forth on the
The
Cubs.
guy can't play a lick in the NBA, but he can make
Funny
a
guy,
statement,
yeah. Funny freaking guy. I like his style. I'm going 24-13 Birds.
Better edit your social media posts.
Yeah, I'm going to edit it. Whatever. A win's a win, right? A win's a win.
Yeah.
But load up. Put all your chips in the middle because the kid's going to come sling it against the number 1 defense in all football.
You just got influenced by an 18-year-old caller to change your score.
I'll say 17-10. That's fine. It's no big deal.
I fucking
I'm a
love
man
you.
of the freaking people. They excite me. His 38 points got me so jacked up. I'm like, shit, how the hell do I only have 17? No, I'm 17-10 Eagles. I'm going to stick to what I had. I mean, I am getting that little vibe in my stomach right now. And it could just be from all the excitement from J-Man. But I am getting the vibe that the kid's gonna look real good this weekend. And I think we win the turnover battle. We actually win the penalty battle for once. And we play a clean football game. And I don't know how we're going to win it, but I think our defense is going to come to play because when you get shredded like that, and I think Jim Schwartz is a great defense coordinator in this league, and I think they're going to get it right. But I think the kid's going to be real poised this week. I think he's going to get the protection he needs. I think Doug and Frank are going to put together a good game plan for him. It shocked the world Sunday, boys, because listen, the last team that came in here that nobody thought we had a chance against, we rolled them. Now,
Well,
I'm
I'm going to throw something else at it.
That's a better football team too with Ben Roethlisberger than Minnesota. I'll say that every day of the week.
I
don't trust her.
I agree with that.
I can't trust Bradford enough to put.
But
them.
if you don't think the NFL hasn't looked at their schedule, looked at the fact that the Eagles are at home and they've had 10 penalties or more called on them in the last 2 weeks, and they're not going to assign an officiating crew to this game that's going to let the home team play a little bit, you are very sadly mistaken. They are definitely not. I'm telling you right now, they are not going to have more than 10 penalties again, and they are probably not going to be penalized more than the Vikings. There is absolutely going to be some home cooking by the officials. That's just the way the NFL is.
See, I mean, I'm with you guys on this whole, like, the line tells you the Eagles are going to win, all that. I'm an avid bettor, and when I saw that line, I said, I am not touching that game. I am not touching that game.
That's where I jump all over. That's where I jump head first in.
What's the line telling you?
Because I said everything else that I know about football is telling me Vikings.
No question.
But, like, that line, I was like, Vegas is telling me Eagles, but I'm not.
Well,
I'm
let me
not
ask you guys a question.
it.
Let me ask you guys a question. Is Minnesota a 6-0 football team to you?
No.
Okay.
No,
Are the Eagles right from what you've seen over 5 weeks? Are they a 500 football team to you?
No.
So I look at that kind of stuff too. Minnesota's not going 16-0 like we talk about.
That is true.
Right? They're going to have a hiccup. They're coming off the bye where everybody's smelling them. They're the greatest team ever. You know, we know how good this defense is, but they still have a quarterback who I just don't think is good enough, and I'm not in love with their weapons offensively either. So I think that we can shut them down offensively, which puts us in a what?
Man.
It puts us in a defensive battle. And I believe I think Cards are going to make enough plays against that defense, and it's going to surprise us, and then we're going to be smelling them again. Now, the following week against Dallas, I don't know that. I don't know after that. But this week, they're going to come to play.
One thing I will say is actually
they could easily lose, Mike. We know this.
to
But
make you feel even safer. There's a high school teacher I had always texts me, messages me a whack ass prediction that always comes true. Last year he messaged me, Eagles gonna beat the Patriots. Book it. What did they do? They go in and beat the Patriots in Foxborough. Messages me yesterday. Vikings coming off the bye. Bradford's due for a mistake. Eagles backs against the wall. Book it. Eagles win. And this guy, I kid you not, is probably 9 out of 10 on his predictions.
So it actually leads me into the question I wanted to ask you guys, though, is do we think, and I almost feel like a jackass for even asking the question, but I'll ask it anyway. Do we think there is any potential at all for Sam Bradford to come in here looking at this as a revenge game and just kind of go off?
I think the opposite.
I don't think he really.
The opposite as in not a revenge game, or he can't go off?
No, I think he's going to come in with a chip on his shoulder, and I think it's going to press him, and I think he's going to try to make more plays than he can, and I think it's going to cause interceptions and turnovers. I think to your point, yes, he's going to come in revenged up, wanting to stick it to us, and I think when guys come in like that and they worry too much about that
he's
instead of the
try
football
to show
team,
he can throw the deep ball. Yeah,
he's going to struggle.
I had that mindset until I heard Bradford talk today. And he was like, I just can't wait to get to Philly, see them guys again, talk to them, blah, blah. It's like, I think he's just kind of like looking at this as like
coming home party.
Like another. Oh, he spent half his press conference blowing Carson Wentz today.
For him.
So,
can't blame him.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
we as an Eagles fan,
I don't think he comes here and gets hurt.
As an Eagles fan,
I don't think
you
any
should
of that.
hope.
I think he struggles.
You should hope Bradford wants to come in and sling the rock around.
Does he get booed?
He never did nothing wrong. The Eagles fans did. It's not his fault. He's not in the Vikings.
Listen, you know why he gets booed?
Because he's on the other team.
Because of that holdout?
No, not even that. It's because he's connected to one guy. He's connected to Chip Kelly. So, yes, he's going to get booed.
How about, did you hear the Eagles?
When you're connected to that guy in this city, and that Sam Bradford, Chip Kelly go hand in hand, right? He's going to get booed just because of that.
And
there's some dumb fans here, guys.
The Eagles
are not the smartest fan base in America.
I think
the Cowboys are worse, but
I think he gets.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't allow us to be the worst.
I think he gets polite applause until he makes a play, and when he makes a play, the boos just start raining down.
Well, isn't it our luck though that he would come in and sling it all over us? That's how it works here in Philly. But I think the opposite. I think he's going to show us, can the real Sam Bradford please stand up?
Right.
And I think he's going to be on his back a lot. I think we're going to get pressure because it's it's ebb and flow of how sacks work. You know what I mean? The first 3 games you're getting after the quarterback, The last 2 you can't get after the quarterback. Now adjustments happen, and I think they get after the quarterback.
But we saw what happened last year when he tries to force it. When he tries to force it, that's when the mistakes do happen. Now, granted, last year, a lot of times, I mean, how many times did we talk about balls going right through receivers' hands and getting intercepted, and that's why his interception rate was so inflated last year.
Sammy's not a bad quarterback.
No, but here's the problem.
I don't think anybody.
He's the type of quarterback, though, that isn't going to win you a game. He's going to not lose it.
No,
he's a perfect fit there.
But here's the thing. In terms of his receivers,
is Diggs healthy?
No, that's what I was going to say.
We both going to ask each other.
Kyle Rudolph, good tight end.
Stephon Diggs.
Can't stay healthy.
I know he was questionable.
Diggs practiced today, but he is still listed as questionable.
Well, yeah, because there's no probable anymore.
Cordero Patterson sucks. Laquan Treadwell can't get on the field.
And then
Adam Whalen's a slow white guy.
And they got the Thielen.
Yeah, that's it. Adam Thielen, slow white guy. So who knows?
And the Eagles don't give a shit to tight ends, and Rudolph has been their best receiver all year.
So it'll be.
Look, Jordan Hicks, the one thing we say about Jordan Hicks, and I think that's why Pro Football Focus has him too. Sorry, still getting over the cold. Is because he's covered the tight ends really well.
Nigel Bradham, too.
And I think that's where they're probably getting that from more than. But that's the problem with the NFL. Everything's questionable or doubtful. There's no more probable. So it screws you up fantasy-wise.
I'm about to say, that kills me.
Yeah, because it screws you up fantasy-wise because you want to make sure the guy practices because everybody's questionable, even if you got a nick on you. But listen, it's make or break time this Sunday for Michael Kendricks.
Well, I want to toss
It really is. It really is because
I'm glad that you went there because I want to toss a little bouquet out here real quick.
I love catching the bouquet.
So, did you happen to notice, talking about Michael Kendrick and let's say guys who could potentially eat into his playing time a little bit, did you happen to notice who got the pressure on Cousins
My man.
that caused the interception that got ran back to the house?
Hey, Ma, there's that man for once.
That'd be none other than one Mr. Marcus Smith.
Get him on the field. He's better than Connor Barwin. I would have traded Connor. This is where Howie dropped the ball again. Connor Barwin's traded before the season even happened.
Yeah,
Great guy,
this
rise
is-
accepted. Nobody gives a shit.
That's the point that I made to you guys in training camp. Was he going to be a fit as a 4-3 defensive end? And so far, it's not looking good.
Not looking good. And Vinny
his stock
Curry
was never going to be higher.
Right.
No, and Vinny Curry needs to be on the field. And you
Yeah,
saw
you're paying the guy a lot of money. He's playing like 27%.
every time Marcus Smith's on the field, you see him getting some pressure, though. I mean, you got to give the kid at least that.
Because he's back to what he's doing. Just
Yeah.
straight get the quarterback.
He's a big boy, too.
Yeah.
He's not a small. I mean, he's not Vinny Curry small. He's big. So I think I'm actually impressed by the little glimpses I've seen of Marcus Smith, that he's actually on the field.
Yeah.
So sometimes you see Brandon Graham. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer for guys. But Brandon Graham, I've been really impressed with defensively.
yeah.
He's just a guy. He's a high motor.
You know
lays
who's
it out
been my
there.
favorite player on this defense? Rodney McLeod.
I love Rod. He hits
He
everything.
never,
probably
I
sticks
just
his
say,
mother.
he never misses a tackle.
Seriously.
He just he's filling the gaps more than the linebackers are, making plays at the line.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, though. He had 14 tackles on Sunday, and it's like I told our boy Liam from
Yeah,
Philly Sports Network.
Yeah.
I said, when your free safety's making 14 tackles in a game, that's not something to celebrate. That's a problem.
Yeah, depending on where they are. But to your point, yeah, I mean, a lot of them are, he's coming and clean up tackles. But the one thing that him and Malcolm did the first 3 weeks really well is they came up in the box and tackled really well.
Right.
Now, they haven't been up in the box as much, but the big key that they haven't been up in the box as much is because you can't go one-on-one like you would want to because of no McKelvin.
Right.
As much as Jalen Mills played well at times
And
on
by
Sunday.
the way, speaking of corners, I'm done with Nolan
Oh,
Carroll.
I've been done with no character.
I thought
guys, you know who he is?
I
He's
had
a
to-
weight room. He's a weight room junkie. He puts up. No, I'm serious. He puts up the best numbers in the weight room. Nobody works harder than Nolan Carroll, but the training is never translated for Nolan Carroll.
Yeah.
He's okay. Listen, he's a 2 or 3, but you can hide him at your 2
Yeah.
when McKelvin's on the field. Say what you want about Lillard's McKelvin. He's a legitimate 2 in this league. Now, when you lose McKelvin, now you're down to 3 corners. Now Jalen Mills, instead of being your slot guy, has to go out and play the outside. And now Ron Brooks, instead of being your 4th corner, has to be pushed into your 3rd spot. So what does it do? It weakens your secondary, and
And
that's why
McKelvin-
Kirk Cousins picked us apart a
And
little bit.
McKelvin has the speed to run step for step with
But
a
anyway.
lot of receivers
Yeah.
See, I'm not.
in the NFL.
I just like McKelvin. He's physical,
Yeah.
but again, he is who we thought he was,
Right.
an injury-prone guy.
Right. I'm not ready to give up on Carroll just yet, only because he was having a real solid year last year.
Oh, yeah, 100 I was happy that
when
we
he got
signed
hurt.
him.
And I just wonder with him if it's one of those things where it takes you the full year to
My
come back.
biggest problem with him
before
is
you're back to 100%.
My biggest problem is not let him like getting beat. It's the holding the receivers.
Yeah.
That's my only problem
Is that
with him.
trusting your
I
legs
thought-
out?
Well, that's
You know, is that
right.
trusting-
So what it is, it's a
Like
trust
Sunday,
factor.
I was like, holy shit, we have Kerry Williams back.
No, it looked like it. I would have taken Carey back the way Sunday was
Oh,
looking.
the one of the guys that I've actually been really impressed with in that secondary though is Jalen Watkins, and we know that he came up as a corner.
Another late
he got,
riser.
He got moved to safety. Do we need to maybe slide him back to corner a little bit to try to take some of the pressure off Nolan Carroll?
No, you just need Lewis McKelvin healthy. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. Is McKelvin going to play this week?
Yeah,
Nah.
they said he's playing.
Oh, really?
Peterson said that yesterday. He said McKelvin's back this week.
Oh, interesting, because when I saw the injury report today, he's still on the injury report.
It's questionable,
So,
right?
Yeah, but
He's not doubtful.
You know what questionable means in the NFL.
It's now probable.
No, I don't know about all that.
No, it is. There's no
Yeah, I don't
probable.
know.
On, there's no.
T.Y. Hilton's questionable every Tuesday.
No. You guys understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, no, there is no. Yeah,
no
everybody has
probable.
probable is
the injury
questionable, yeah.
report in the NFL sucks now.
Exactly. It's terrible. And it
I don't
hurts
get
your-
why you got rid of the probable designation.
Because of Belichick, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's because of Bill. He's like changing the world. It's like AI with the dress code. You know what I mean? It's like everything Bill does is like shapes the leg from here on out. Because Goodell's a jerk off and has a vendetta against the Patriots. D'Angelo Williams' tweet was the best today. Somebody want to pull that up for me? Find D'Angelo Williams' tweet. We're going to read it off when we come back from the break. Because we got some Sixers to talk about. We got our hockey guy here, Robbie. So we're gonna get in some Flyers talk. We got to talk about the NFL maybe imploding, as one Mark Cuban said. We got a lot of stuff coming up on our side. We'll still take Eagles questions if you got them for us. This is Tom,
Mike,
AM.
in the PM.
We're right here on the worldwide leader of Real Talk, A2DRadio.com. This segment was not only brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC, your certified public accountant, our show sponsor every Wednesday night on Tom and Mike AM in the PM. You can find them on the web, GibsonMayer.com, and also BMW Atlantic City. We're off exit 37 on the Parkway. Find them online, BMW of AtlanticCity.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Tom Arnone, Big Mikey Smalls, Tom, Mike, AM, in the PM, only on A2DRadio.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215 369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Yeah, welcome back, Tom.
Mike
AM.
in the PM.
Right here, A2DRadio.com. Tom Renaud, Michael Matarek, Sean Radden, Rob Hogan on the ones and twos. We're live from the BMW of Atlantic City studios. We're right here in Mount Ethan, New Jersey. BMW Atlantic City, right off exit 37 of the Parkway. Find them online, BMWAtlanticCity.com. And every Wednesday night, we're brought to you by our good friends at Gibson Mayer LLC. Our certified public account, make them yours. Find them on the web, GibsonMayer.com. And our poll question, you can vote on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You know where you can find us, A2DRadio.com. Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz can learn the most from what? 3 wins, 2 losses, interceptions. I should probably go to the poll question.
Touchdown.
Touchdowns. I
It's
thought I had it all.
sign
Damn
language
it.
from across the studio.
Well, this goddamn moth in here, I hope I got him out. He was flying around, so I was going to leave the door open. Tom.
Yo, I got to
Good
tell
call.
you, man, a little 5-week hiatus from the airwaves here, and the musical selections coming in and out of breaks. Upgrade.
Upgrade.
Little Cubbies throwing the ball around the infield. 2 runs up on the board for the LA Dodgers. 5-2, bottom of the fifth.
Lackey's got a
Billy
case.
Goat.
Lackey's got a case
So,
now.
our boy, on agree to disagree.
Uncle Sweeps.
Uncle Sweeps, man, shoots me a text. So Madden goes out to get the ball from Lackey, and John Lackey response was, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And according to Sweeps, could be a brawl in the dugout soon. So, wow, the Billy Goat is dancing around.
You gotta wonder if Joe Madden's feeling the pressure there with a quick hook instead of
Micromanaging, yep.
Yeah.
I forgot to ask you, Sean. J-Man, who called in earlier, chimed back in on YouTube. What teacher were you talking
He
about?
DM'd me on Twitter.
You
I
got
told
you?
him, yeah,
Okay,
I got
cool,
him, yeah.
Cool. We get the answers out to the people. You know?
What is it? You and J-Man have a little personal relationship through the show?
No, well, we went to high school.
Why'd you pick up the phone and call that kid?
We went to high school together.
Oh, that's a problem.
Well, actually, I didn't really. I know, he
You
wasn't
didn't go?
He wasn't,
You didn't-
well, no.
Thank you.
Well, he wasn't actually in high school when I was in there, but his he always came in
His
and
sister
practiced.
was.
He always came in and practiced
Wow.
with our wrestling team because his dad helped out.
I was gonna say Sean had a little thing for his sister, maybe.
Nah, I don't even think he has a sister. I don't think.
All right. Damn it! I'm trying to paint a picture here, and ain't nothing going right.
Well, you can paint your picture right on Pornhub. So, Chad Kelly. Every time we get a chance for Chad Kelly. So what we're going to do here is we talked a lot of Eagles start to show, obviously, in evaluating Carson Wentz as a quarterback and the progressions. And this week is that next progression that we like to talk about. And Mike said, early on, before his little hiatus, that it was a week-to-week thing with Carson Wentz in terms of evaluating him. So this is a big test, number 1 ranked defense in all of football, and I think we all think he's going to have a good day today. Sean's got a loss. He's not feeling it. It's a gut feeling. It's what it comes down to. And his gut's telling him a loss. Me and Mike, we think we shocked the world. I tell you to put your whole goddamn mortgage on it. Load up. Back the truck up. Load up. Even go 6 months. I mean, it's only 6 months not living in your house.
Right, yeah.
I mean, foreclosure nowadays is, bankruptcy, write it all off. It's no big deal. Your credit score's great in 4 years anyway.
I mean, I'm not.
I'm helping the kids out there. J-Man, you're only 18 years old.
Take a listen to your Uncle Tom.
Put your uncle money.
Put all your allowance on the.
All your allowance.
Don't ignore the fact that this team's defense is going to know Sam Bradford really well from practice. They're going to know his tendencies. They're going to know what he does when he's in trouble. I give the Eagles defense an edge above any other defense.
Well, I was at Doug Peterson's press conference yesterday. He actually got a little pissed off at the media because they brought up that, but then they also hit him with how are you going to feel knowing Sam Bradford knows your whole playbook? And Doug got a little pissed off. He goes, there's only one guy that knows my playbook, and that's me. And I was like, oh, sorry, Doug. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, all right. Because you're at DGB, don't know it.
Well, Matt Lewis chiming in, and you're a major baseball junkie, Mr. Matt
Right.
Radke, and Matt Lewis chiming in on our YouTube chat. How about the Major League Baseball 2020? All uniforms will be made by Under Armour.
Now, see, that's interesting because that news came out today.
I'm not a huge Under Armour guy.
And
Not me either.
I didn't
I'm a
want to.
Nike guy.
I didn't
Yeah,
want to
I'm a
get into
Nike.
it because I want to see exactly how this happens.
Some color rush.
Well, but that's the thing. Is it a situation where Under Armour just starts making the uniforms and the teams still have control over the classic designs and the things that they want to do? Or does this become like the University of Maryland where every team has 75 different uniforms? Because if you take a look at the Arizona Diamondbacks right now, they're a team that has 7 different uniforms, and 6 out of the 7 uniforms absolutely suck.
I don't have a problem.
They look like Sunday Beer League softball uniforms.
I got a problem with their pants. The black, the gray pants that they have, the black that comes with it looks weird as hell.
The only uniform that Arizona has that I like is their home white on white. I like the
Mike,
classic.
Black Lives Matter.
Well, it doesn't matter. it's that classic, white pants, white top with like that sort of like Adobe red, purple, and black lettering and numbering. Like I actually think those look sharp. But all these other uniforms that they have with the
turquoise,
the gray on red, gray on turquoise, white on red, white on turquoise tops, gray tops. It's just like. I swear it looks like the freaking Crayola box puked in their bedroom closet.
So, listen, since we're touching on baseball right now, I want to ask you guys, who do you got winning the whole dance now? Now, Cleveland's in the dance, and you got your Dodgers, Cubs.
I think
look to be tied up.
It runs on the hottest team, whoever's hottest at the moment. You got to roll with the Indians, lost 1 game so far.
Does it hurt the Indians that they could be, a little break from the action for a while?
I actually think it does.
Now, the benefit is they get to set the rotation the way they want to.
Right.
But does it hurt, like we talk about, the momentum
I don't
that they
know,
have right now?
they rolled through the Red Sox and still had to wait for the rest of the series to get done. So I feel like they're used to it by now.
Terry's a great manager, too.
I will say this. For me, if the Dodgers win the NLCS, Dodgers win the World Series.
Okay.
If the Cubs win the NLCS, Cleveland wins the World Series.
I like where you read that.
I think Cleveland matches up a lot better with the Cubs than they do the Dodgers.
Well, Cleveland matches up great with anybody just because of the back end. If they get to the back end, we know it's lights out.
Right, but here's the thing: if you look at the Blue Jays, okay, and you look at their top 5, you go Devin Travis, Joey Bats, Tulo, Donaldson, Encarnacion. What do all 5 of them have in common?
Rake.
But from which side of the plate?
Oh, yeah,
They're
righties.
all right-handed sticks. You look at the Dodgers, you go Grandal, Gonzalez, Utley, Reddick, Seager. They all go from the left side of the plate. I think the left-handed hitters are going to give all that right-handed pitching on Cleveland a problem. Where Cleveland can fight that is Trevor Miller out of the back end of the bullpen. But they got to stay in games long enough to get to Trevor Miller.
Yeah. Second level thinking.
That's what I do. When it comes to baseball, absolutely.
Yeah, I think the pressure just becomes too much for the Cubs the further they go. And I know they're a young
Don't tell
team.
Jen.
I know it hurts Cubs fans, but guess what? It loses the luster if they win. It just loses it. I bet you in 1907 and 1908 when they won back-to-back, they probably thought 1909 was a wrap, right?
Oh,
you know what I mean? I mean, I'm sure they were like, well, we're never going to lose again. But it's just amazing. But, guys, how do curses end? Curses end weird ways.
Yeah.
And right now, nothing weird's happened for the Cubs. They're the best team in baseball. Everybody's picked to win the whole damn thing.
Maybe that's what they need. They need Lackey to punch Madden in the face.
Something. But I feel like they need to be down. Something weird needs to happen for them to win, and it just doesn't feel like it's this year. Usually you win when things start going wrong. I mean, look at the Red Sox.
Well,
Down
hold
3-0.
on, though.
That's why the Dodgers would be the ultimate team this year. They've had so many players on the DL.
Well, let's-
And haven't won since
Right, but
86 either. They're in a drought.
But let's back up the train here for a second.
Back it up.
Go back to the Cubs-Giants NLDS. You didn't think the Giants had that thing in the bag?
Oh, I did.
And
It's
all of
even
a sudden the Cubs just like with the comebacks?
Oh, yeah.
That's your weird shit right there. Now the question is, can they roll that through 2 more series?
Smoking Bumgarner,
and then what was it? The one game they're down 4 in the top of or down 3 in the top of the 9th.
Yep.
They come back and they score 4.
Yep.
I mean, come on.
I'm torn with who I'm really rooting for, because I have a rooting interest in the Dodgers because I'm happy for Utley Ruiz getting to compete again. Then again, I just feel for Chicago because we feel that same thing with football.
No, you're absolutely right. My thing,
and I feel like if the Cubs streak ends, changes in the universe. The Eagles are gonna be next. They gotta be next.
Well, my whole thing with that series is if the Cubs won tonight, and I said this when I first walked in the door, if the Cubs win tonight, I think they win the series because you can only run Kershaw out there one more time. And I don't think there's another pitcher on the Dodgers staff that can beat the Cubs twice in a 7-game series.
Oh, yeah. I mean, none of their other pitchers are proven. Given Kershaw hasn't really been proven in the playoffs up until this year.
I think Maeda's out of gas. Rich Hill doesn't beat them a second time. Urias probably doesn't even see the mound again in the series unless it's in relief. I mean, who else are they going to throw out there? Kershaw, and then they probably come back with Kershaw in Game 6, and in Game 7 they just piece it together.
Well, wouldn't that be the more of the team to win it, right? Because everything's set up essentially, to your point, for the Cubs
to lose.
You know what I mean? Everything's set up for the Cubs to win, and it's just that's how Major League Baseball playoffs are. They're weird.
No, you're right. You're right, but at some point,
I'm looking for any goddamn.
No,
reason for the
I
Cubs
hear
to
you,
lose.
and you know what? Honestly, Tommy, I'm not telling you you're wrong.
I don't hate the Cubs at all either. I think it's funny.
But at some point, you just got to look at a team and just say they don't have any more bullets in the damn gun, and that's what it's going to come down to.
They don't, Mike.
Dodgers.
But if the Dodgers win Game 5 with Kershaw and they're up 3-2, listen, the Cubs go home shriveled,
sweating.
You know what I mean? The Cubs go home and their little peanuts are up in their stomach.
I don't think Kershaw goes Game 5. I think Kershaw goes Game 6.
Well, he only threw 84 pitches.
I think what's going to happen with Kershaw is he's going to be the one to either save the series for them or put him in the World Series.
Oh shit! I throw him Game 5 because he only threw 84 pitches the last time he was out, and Dave Roberts did that for a reason because everybody was like, oh
why
my God,
taking him out
why are they taking him out? Well, you had to
try to save some bullets,
save him so that you can come back with him Game 5 because that's Game 5. The winner of Game 5 most of the time is the winner of the series.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big game, and especially you can go up 3-2. And if you go up 3-2, I'm telling you, the pressure is going to be so big that you could throw me or you in Game 6.
Still 5.
You know what I mean? You could throw me and you in Game 6. That's how pressure it is.
Yeah.
6.
Top 6. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting.
I mean, Rich Hill is the wild card there because he just baffles them with that junk curveball, can pop that fastball in there. I agree with you, Mike. He probably doesn't beat him. They see him the second time around.
Right.
You'd think these Cub hitters will catch on, but if they're down 3-2 and all the pressure's on those young hitters,
They're going to be pressing.
they're going to be pressing against the tough 12-6 curveball, and that could be lights out.
Am I wrong? Did Rich Hill not pitch for the Cubs at one point?
He did at one point, yes.
This is
Hold on, Mike.
Hold the fuck on. This is all set up now. I mean, this you can't write a better script. I mean, listen, there's guys out in Hollywood looking for a script like this. Write it down. Kershaw's winning Game 5 because he's coming back, and Rich Hill's going 6, and it's a wrap. It's a freaking wrap now. I love it.
But I'll tell you what.
Sorry, I was looking for anything, and there it is, Sean.
In all seriousness,
I don't know if he can go 6. By the way, that might be too close.
I'm telling you right now, though, Joe Madden can make 2 moves and win this thing, and it's going to be the most counterintuitive move that you could possibly think of. He's got to sit Baez down. He's got to move Zobrist from left field to second base. He's got to put Soler in left field, so your outfield is Soler, Fowler, and Hayward. He's got to start Wilson Contreras behind the plate.
6'2".
No David Ross, even though I know that David Ross is John Lester's personal catcher. You gotta have that extra bat in the lineup, Contreras. But I think right now, Baez was such the emotional catalyst in the NLDS and the first game of the NLCS, but he hasn't done anything in 3 games.
He's 1 for 2 tonight with a walk. He's on base twice tonight.
Okay.
So maybe that gives him a little longer
Little
leash.
jump,
but
yeah.
Zobrist is in the lineup tonight too and left. So he did start Zobrist and left.
Well, that's the thing is Zobrist has been starting, but he's been starting in the outfield. And not that he's a bad outfielder, but I think especially against Rich Hill, Baez is not patient. He's a hacker.
Yeah,
not that Soler isn't, but I'd rather take my chances with Soler in the outfield and Baez coming off the bench once they get into the bullpen than having Baez go up there just hacking early and maybe setting the tone the wrong way with some strikeouts.
Bauer singled to right. Russell scored 6-2 Cubbies.
Hold on, Mike, because you're a baseball mind. I'm probably going to present you with this idea, and you're going to lose your shit.
No, go ahead.
But I lost my shit when I first heard it, too. But then I was kind of intrigued on how it would play out. Somebody presented the idea of the trade deadline. You know how in soccer, in the Europes, there's loans?
Right.
They said that pitchers, like for Chris Sale this year, for example, they said baseball should start a thing where one team sends money and some prospects to get a player on a loan for the rest of that season.
I would actually be in support of that, but I think there's got to be 2 stipulations. The date has to be earlier than the trade deadline. I think you'd need to install a loan deadline and a trade deadline. And if the loan deadline is, let's say the loan deadline is the All-Star break, and then you take the trade deadline, and instead of having it be July 31st, August 1st, you push that back to August 15th, okay? I think if you have 2 different deadlines, loan versus trade, I think you can absolutely use that type of a system. However, the prospects, if the player is loaned and then shipped back to his original team or the team that holds his contract, the prospects stay.
Yeah.
So it's,
that's what I'm saying. You're basically buying in for that 1 year.
The prospects are traded as part of a loan. Yes. Then
a team like the Dodgers this year could have added an arm like Chris Sale to pair with Kershaw.
And I would tell you that I also feel like the loans need to be league approved, and the amount of money that changes hands has to have some direct correlation to the salary of the player who's being loaned. Like, you can't just take some guy, some jabroni and loan him because the team that is going to take that loan is willing to offer you $20 million. Like, no, you can't do that. Like, it's the amount of money that changes hands has to be commensurate with the amount of money that the guy makes. So a guy like Chris Sale, it's got to be a hell of a lot of money and some real high-level prospects that change hands.
Yeah.
Now, are you going to trade top-of-the-line prospects in a loan deal?
See, that's what I'm saying.
No, absolutely. No. Like, for instance,
that's why I think it would be more along the lines of money.
Right, but the deal that Tommy and I like to go back to a lot is the Cole Hamels deal, because the Phillies got a bunch of really high-level prospects from the Rangers in that deal. Let's say that Hamels deal was a loan instead of a full trade. Would they have gotten a Williams, an Alfaro, an Asher, an Eichhoff? Would they have gotten all of that in the deal? Probably not. But at the same time, they could have pulled Hamels back after a year, 2 years, whatever the term of the loan was.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question.
When I read that, I was just like, that would be interesting to watch.
And it's funny because when I think about it, I think the only sport in terms of baseball, football, basketball, hockey, where that could actually work on the major league level or the highest level is baseball. Because one player can turn an NFL franchise, an NBA franchise, an NHL franchise, especially an NHL franchise. But one player is not going to turn a full Major League Baseball team the way they would in the other three sports. It's an interesting question, Sean. I like it. Good stuff, man. That's some next level thinking right there.
That's what we do. All right, so let's dive into a little Sixers talk here. Well, you know what? You want to go Sixers or you want to go Cube?
Let's go the other way first because I think that'll be a little quicker. Let's finish off with some Sixers.
All right, so we'll start with some Cube. So Mark Cuban, 2 years ago, talked about, pigs get fat, they get slaughtered was his phrase. And now he was interviewed a few days ago and said he believes the NFL will implode in 10 years. I just want your guys' opinion on that.
I mean, it's hard to disagree with him. Roger Goodell just showed you how clueless he is today by his statement. We are doing research and trying to figure out why the ratings are so bad. Anybody else in the world can tell you why they're so bad. Every 20 seconds is a flag. I had to turn off the Monday night game because every single pass was pass interference. Every hard hit's a 15 yards. Like, you can't do anything anymore.
Became a dictatorship.
Players are getting $20,000 fines for shooting a fake arrow.
Sean,
you can't shoot a ball over the goalpost.
Sean, why do you watch football and sports? It's entertainment,
Yeah,
right, guys?
exactly.
It's the no fun league.
Well, let me ask you guys a question. It's bigger. All you said is spot on, right? But it's bigger than that. They oversaturated a product that you looked forward to, right? Sunday was great
Like
when we were younger.
The Thursday night game's the biggest.
Robbie, when we were younger, Sunday's all we looked forward to when the football season was. It was Sunday. If you were lucky enough to play the Sunday night game, great. But if you played Monday, there was something special to it. Well, you oversaturated your product by not only playing on Thursday. Then you want to go overseas and play in London and play other places. That's fine. You're going to start them games at 9:30 in the morning, East Coast time. West Coast time, it's starting at freaking 6 a.m. So the point is you oversaturated a great product by giving too much of it. The reason the NFL was so great is because people clamored for more. You can't give the people what they want. The whole good business is making people want more, always leaving them wanting more. The NFL, that was one mistake. The other mistake, Roger Goodell has turned this into a goddamn dictatorship, which is ridiculous. And you saw D'Angelo Williams' tweet.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get it up. But the point is that
right here.
This is what he turned the league into. Cuban's a smart businessman, and I think he's spot on. Now, the NBA never oversaturated their product in terms of it's 82. It's always been 82, and there's a lot of games. Major League Baseball, people say it's too long. Whatever. What did Major League Baseball do? They try to shorten it by pitch counts and different things. 1 foot in the box. They tried to make little adjustments to make the game quicker. All the NFL's done, to Sean's point, is make games longer. Why on the first kickoff of the game do I need a commercial? We're all locked the fuck in. We're all locked in. We're climbing around our goddamn TV. As soon as the kickoff's done, we take a break to the commercial. Listen,
my biggest problem
is product placement. Product placement on the screens, and you don't need all the commercials. You can make advertisers pay. Listen, I'm available for hire, okay? You can make advertisers pay a boatload of money to put product placement on the screens instead of taking a commercial every 5 minutes.
I can give you.
And fantasy football, no offense, Robbie, that's your shit, is ruining the NFL. What do you look more forward to? Brandon Cooks' 85-yard touchdown from Drew Brees alert or an actual game alert? Really, guys?
Red Zone.
True, yeah.
Come on, Red Zone's
more
ruined it.
people are watching the Red Zone instead of sitting down and watching a full
Why would
football
you?
game.
Right.
Why would
That
you
is
unless your
true.
team's playing?
But with your commercial point, my biggest problem with that is a team scores a touchdown, commercial. They come back, kick the extra point, commercial.
Oh, my God. 25 minutes.
I have 4 ways.
I mean, it's good for your defense when you're on the field a
I
lot.
have 4 ways that we can make the NFL great again.
Yeah.
Hey, you like
Trump.
No, I'm being legit here. Number 1, get rid of the Thursday night game.
Agreed.
Okay.
Completely
I've
agree.
never once seen a good Thursday night football
No,
game.
it's a slop game.
And then now
It's
they're
the
trying
Browns and
gimmicks.
Rams.
Right.
Now they're trying gimmicks to get people to watch with the color rush jerseys.
There
Right,
was
so
that Green Bay Lions game last year.
Yeah.
That was pretty
Right,
good.
so you get-
besides that, no.
But most of the time, the good games are sloppy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, hear me out on these, and then we can go back and comment, okay? So, number 1, you get rid of the Thursday night game. Number 2 is a combo deal. You get rid of the Sunday night game, and you make Monday Night Football mean something again, okay? Number 3, you take the 3 teams that are in Florida, and you combine them into one team, the Miami Dolphins. You get rid of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. You actually contract the league back to 30 teams. Okay? Number 4, and this is the one that kind of, you think the contraction thing, follow me on this, you cut back to 2 preseason games and you go to 18 regular season games.
I like everything but the taking away of teams. Because
that's the only thing
I don't know if that's their. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but Florida's such a monstrous state that they can get away with it. That's not. That's a good point, but that's not the issue on why the league is struggling for viewership.
No, but what I'm saying is that if you remove 2 teams from the equation and you take that talent and you redistribute the talent across the league, and I'm saying if you took those 3 teams and you basically said the Miami Dolphins get to field the best 53 from these 3 teams.
They still stink.
And then the
Who's that quarterback?
The rest of it
Winston?
gets distributed
Tannehill or
through,
Bortles?
around the league. Guys, they all become free agents. Then what you're doing is you're basically taking your talent pool and you're increasing your talent pool league-wide.
No, it makes sense. But to your point, I think the league is very competitive. To that point, it would make it definitely more competitive. But again, to Sean's point, how do you
But what's the one big problem?
What are the right? Nobody knows what a catch is.
Viewership, though, is nobody wants to watch a shitty game.
Yeah, but the problem with viewership is nobody knows what a catch is anymore. Nobody knows what.
Well, they have made way too many.
Like we don't know what anything is anymore. So that's the big issue that I have. Listen, Cubes is spot on, and to your point, Mike, they got to take away some things. And Thursday Night Football is where you start.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, you start there
100%.
because you don't need it.
Right.
Like then nobody watches it. I mean, you guys really dive into Thursday Night Football.
If there's nothing if
there's nothing else on, but good little combo.
Thursday Night
I do
Football's
for
not
fantasy. That's
No,
about
I mean,
it.
I do.
That's about it.
I tune in,
Yeah,
but it's boring.
Yeah, Thursday Night Football is not must-watch TV.
Guys, the whole point of football
And
is I want
somebody always gets screwed, too, by the Thursday night game.
But how about this? I want guys to knock guys' heads off. I watch football to watch them get your head knocked off. Okay, you're getting paid millions of dollars. The CTE, I understand it, but now nobody can hit anymore.
Yep.
The quarterback's unhittable. You
Yeah.
know, every time a ball's over the middle, you love when you have physical safeties who'll take your head off. Now, I think it was Rodney McLeod who got penalized 15 yards maybe against Detroit.
Yeah.
I forget what it was. And they said, the guy who caught the ball, I forget what, might have been 5'10". So he leads with the shoulder and hits him right on his shoulder, and that's a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah.
I mean, so you can't lead with anything. You can't lead with your shoulder. You can't lead with your head. Yeah. What's a penalty? What's
you
not a penalty?
literally have to make a perfect tackle in the NFL.
They're ruining the fun of the game. Like Mike's point, the no fun league.
And dude, when
I want to see some dancing.
I'm about to say, when I love the NFL? When every weekend, Chad Johnson and Terrell Owens were trying to out-celebrate the other.
Exactly. It was fun. It was fun. And listen, I hate everything about Odell Beckham. I think he's a crumb. I think he's a baby. I think he has a vagina. And
I don't think
he definitely likes men. So we know all them things, check. But the guy's a hell of a football player and have a talent. But he has a point in terms of the game should be fun. Now he's a me guy. It's all me. The net thing was way too much.
Yeah,
but
he
the
took
point
that the
is,
wrong way.
the point is the league should be fun. You watch sports for entertainment. You don't watch sports for a million penalties. It's not a goddamn dictatorship or whatever. We could do this for days. Yeah. You know what I mean? We could do it for months.
Odell took that net thing. Everybody was mad about him because he made it a spectacle.
Yeah, exactly.
And then what does he do? He acts like everybody was mad that he hit the net, like the net's a woman.
He should be.
And he goes back and
proposed in the Jalen Ramsey.
You still made it a spectacle.
Here's the thing.
That was everybody's problem.
The net
proposed to Jalen Ramsey. Odell, okay?
The net stuff was. It was stupid when it happened. Then it was cute when he went back and he quote unquote made up with the net.
Then this weekend,
it should have just stopped there. He's immediately now into overkill, and this guy's going to fizzle out. He really is. I said it 3 weeks ago, and Brian Wilson said I was wrong, and I respect his opinion.
I don't.
I said Beckham's going to be out of the league in 3 years. Wilson said maybe not out of the league, but definitely out of New York. That's a good point. But I look at him, and I look at guys like Chad Johnson and Terrell Owens, and you look at the league's tolerance for guys like that now as opposed to when they played. he's going to burn himself right out of the league.
No, he is. And guess what, Mike? Bigger than that, he might not be there after this year. And I'll tell you why. Because this quarterback who runs the franchise is getting tired of the antics.
And the head coach came out and spoke out.
Yeah, and as much as I'm not an Eli guy, none of us are. The guy's a winner, though. I mean, say what you want about him. I hate it. But, he's won Super Bowls, and credit due.
He's got a name.
Yeah, but when you're head of your franchise,
Name.
you're essential LeBron of your franchise is getting tired of a guy's antics. Who's going to be the one to go?
Right.
The owner's going to get rid of the wideout before he's going to get rid of his franchise quarterback. So I agree with you. I think he's going to fizzle out at some point because there's no reason for it. I just don't think when I look at wide receivers just in overall, right? If I got to pick one, or Dez Bryant or Odell Beckham, there's no question. Forget him cutting his finger, cutting carrots. I'm taking Dez Bryant every day and twice on Sunday
100%.
because that's your prototypical number one wideout. He's a bulldog. He's physical. He's strong. And he's worn himself out by being so physical. But that's the guy I'm taking.
The guy
when I look at Odell, I look at Odell as a gimmick guy almost because he's not a guy he took some slants to the house against Baltimore because guys fell down. But at the end of the day, that's not.
He's an Antonio Brown wannabe.
Yeah, he's not a guy who's going to go over the middle and take big shots. You can see him back down. Not back down when guys get physical, but as soon as the guy gets physical with the guy, he checks out. Right? So his head's not there.
Well, there's a
lot of issues with him.
Here's the thing.
Typical wideout.
When was the last time that Odell Beckham really came up big in a super meaningful game? I say it all the time, and it's applicable to different sports and different players. It's real easy to be a great player on a shitty team. But when you got to be the man on a team that's got expectations, all of a sudden them lights become real bright, and that asshole gets real tight.
Uh-huh.
And it's you're on. It's
That's why he loves that.
It's week 6, and you're playing an interconference game at home against the Ravens, who, as Rob pointed out before the show started, were down their defensive leader and weren't making tackles in the secondary. It's not like Eli was beating him over the top. He's running slants, and he took a couple to the house. Whoop-de-doo.
To your point, my favorite Odell Beckham moment came last year versus the Jets. The Giants are marching down the field, have a shot to kick a field goal to send the game to overtime. Eli throws a bomb. Odell drops it. I think but they're in field goal range right now. Odell gets frustrated, kicks the ball, 15 yards, all sportsmanlike, kicker missed a field goal. And all because of them 15 yards.
It's immaturity.
And right there, to your point, he just...
Speaking of immaturity.
I was going to say, now on the flip side, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to segue right into the Sixers.
You want to go Flyboys or you want to go Sixers? Because Flyboys will be quick.
I'm going to go to freaking Flyers.
The only thing I want to say about that is I want to give major props to Ron Hextall for going completely against the grain of what he normally does. He's got 2 19-year-olds on the opening day roster for the first time since 1984, which, by the way, was a team that he was on.
Full freaking circle.
Yeah, full circle. But now, so in this town, you got Carson Wentz, you got Ivan Provorov, you got Travis Konechny, you got
Trust the process.
The entire team
that we're gonna get into in a minute.
Got Nerlens smoking weed and rental properties.
But what we need is the Phillies. We've been talking about this farm system now for basically a year and a half. They got to get the young kids up.
Well, what did Ron Hextall do that I think I've been preaching for freaking I don't even know how long? As soon as I put a goddamn headset on, really, you know what I mean? Back at the days at a certain CSB where they do posts about themselves. But that's a story for another day. But look, I've always been a believer. I don't care how old you are. If you can play, you can play.
Right.
You know what I mean? And a guy doesn't have to be like 21 years old to say you can play or play X amount of games in the minors to say, well, now you can play. And
he didn't discriminate because of their age.
No, he said, you know what? What I seen in preseason, you're my best 2 options. You kids are going to play. And to your point, Mike, that's why I clapped when you said that, because he deserves credit. Because that's what you do. You're building something. You build it with the kids that are going to be
Right.
here. So to Matt Clintack, I'm telling you, if J.P. Crawford is not your opening day shortstop, I am done with the Philadelphia Phillies and this bullshit and this wait forever for players. I thought this was a new regime,
Right.
and hopefully Matt Clintack proves me wrong. That's not the same old way of thinking. Look at the Chicago Cubs. Theo Epstein's the smartest GM in the freaking world. There's nobody smarter than the guy. He broke one curse, and he might chop the goat's legs off coming up here soon, right? The guy doesn't wait.
Right.
Sean, he doesn't wait.
No, I'm with you.
Baez, you can play. Chris Bryant, we know he can play, but the point is, his big prospects came on up, and what did they do? They started winning together and building it together. Now, to your point, yeah, with the kids winning down in the minors back in the day, yeah, that means something to the kids, learning how to win.
But it's done.
But it's done now. They've done their job then. Now, this year,
Right.
this is my straw. Last year, I understood it. Okay, Crawford didn't come up. They wanted to hold his eligibility. Arbitration, all that good stuff. I
Right.
get the business side of it as much as I hated it. But this year, you cannot sell me on Freddie Galvis.
No, you got to have next spring. You got to have Crawford. You got to have Nick Williams.
I'll even give them Williams. I'll even give them Williams for a month or two, even though I don't agree with
But
it.
I thought Nick Williams was the most ready
Me too.
prospect down there this year.
Me too.
In terms of on the field, yeah. He dug himself the hole off the field.
Off the field. Now, he can get that right.
He can absolutely
rewrite
But
that
that's
shit.
also bent up frustration of saying, what the hell
True.
else do I got to do for you guys to still be in Reading
Your
or
team
still be
stinks.
in Lehigh
Yeah, your team
Valley?
stinks. You got Peter Bourge just running out there.
Yeah.
He's not better than Peter Bourge
So
now.
you're telling me Cody Ashley's better than me.
Oh, my God. Listen.
You're telling me Jimmy Paredes is better than me.
Jimmy Paredes.
You tell me Darren Ruff gets up here twice before I get up
Isn't there a certain
here.
guy on 920 Fox AM, and nobody's on the AM anymore, that actually crowns Darren Ruff? Sorry. I mean, he used to be here too. Moron. But
You know, there's one player on the Phillies roster that if there's one player on the Phillies roster that I can't stand more than Cody Ashley,
it's Darren Ruff.
It's Darren Ruff.
He's the first one getting thrown off the bench. We're not even going to give Cody
When
Ashley.
I was watching Comcast Sportsnet, and then they were interviewing Darren Ruff, and they were like, "How's it
He's
feel to
interviewed
be?"
still?
And then I was like, "Yeah." They were like,
My God.
They were like, "How
Like
you feel
filling
being
time?
back?" I was like, "What? Back? You're still alive?"
I thought you were dead.
Wait, all right, but hold on a second. Let me back up a second
you played for the River Sharks.
for as much as I
they moved.
right, but for as much as I can't stand him, I am going to defend him for a second.
Yeah, I
And where I'm going with this is we talked about the whole Nick Williams thing, okay? Darren Ruff was in the show. He gets sent down. He goes to AAA. He hits 300 with 15 bombs.
Roll job.
Nick Williams is in AAA, and he's not getting called up, and he pouts. And the batting average starts dropping. The power numbers weren't there. And then the effort started to drop. And when he stopped running out ground balls and he stopped hustling on fly balls in the outfield, is when he got benched. And then when he threw the shit fit, when he got benched, he punched his own ticket. Now, Sean, I agree with your point that I do think a piece of that is boredom. And I do buy into that. But the thing is, when you haven't made it there once, you can't shoot yourself in
you
the
don't
foot.
dictate it. You dictate it by the play on the field.
Yeah.
And how you act off of
now,
it. Yeah.
if you get there and you get sent back down and things aren't going your way, I could see maybe having a little bit of a pissy fit.
No question, yep.
But if you haven't made it there yet, you can't do that.
No, you can't. Mike, you're spot on. That's why Quinn came up before him.
Yeah.
And guess what? My opening day outfield is. And
Well,
I
also think Quinn was being showcased a little bit.
Yeah, and
because I told you before, I don't see him as an everyday starter in a Phillies uniform. He's trade bait, and I stand by that. I think they brought him up to showcase.
Well, listen, I'm fine with it. I mean, go get yourself an arm.
Somebody's
go
going to
and
have
eat.
to be moved.
But what was the thing that I told you guys from day one about Roman Quinn? Can't
hurt.
stay on the field. He's injury prone. And what happened? He came up. He was great for 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden he got hurt, and he was done for the rest of the
we
year.
thought he was,
Yeah.
and that's what it is. But if I'm opening day and running my outfield out, I go back and forth with Mr. Wilson about this all the freaking time. But, and I don't care where Herrera plays. You put him in right, you put him in left. I don't give a shit because he plays.
Yeah.
He's my starter. So put Herrera wherever you want to. Put Quinn wherever you want to. But Quinn, Herrera, and Williams have to open it. Have to open up.
Look,
opening day.
I'm a season. I have season tickets to the Phillies. I went to 2 games this year just because I said parking, game, food, beer. It ain't worth my money.
No.
I'm not going. But you sell me next year, Aaron Nola on the hill, opening day, Alfaro behind the plate.
Yep. Or Rupp. I mean, both of them. I'll take both of them.
JP
That's
Crawford at short, Nick Williams, Roman Quinn, and Herrera. I'm taking my ass to Tommy Joseph at first guess you're gonna sell out.
You are going to sell out. And guess what, Sean? To your point about Alfaro, I don't need him to be my opening day catcher because I think that's Cameron Rupp. Okay, because I'll give it to Cameron Rupp right now. But he's the other guy.
Yeah.
He's the other guy. There's no sending him back down. He's more advanced than Andrew Knapp. He's ready to go. And why not learn?
And for these morons,
and Cameron Rupp's a gamer too. I want him to learn from
but
Cameron Rupp. He's a gamer.
These morons who want to call me out on social media and say that they need to keep A.J. Ellis around because A.J. Ellis is going to be the veteran presence on that team.
Say A.J.
A.J. Ellis hasn't been in Philadelphia for a full year, and the guy hasn't won shit.
I'm gonna say there's a reason why the Dodgers said, "All right, we're gonna get his ass."
They went and
out
got
of
a
here. We'll
winner.
make this push.
The Dodgers went and got the winner, the real winner of that deal. And that's Carson Wentz. He's the winner, okay? But the Dodgers are geniuses for one thing only. Two, Chase Utley, Carson Wentz. When you bring winners into your locker room, it helps the kids.
You got Game Center for that game going on right now?
Yes, sir.
Did Ruiz start for the Dodgers tonight?
Nope. No.
That's a mistake.
They started Contreras.
Grandal.
No, Dave Roberts should have ran Ruiz out there with the kid.
Should have.
I understand the Grandal bat, but Ruiz could have got that kid a lot deeper into the game.
I completely agree with you.
It's now 10-2.
Yeah,
That's fine. They used up their balls tonight. We'll see how they come back against
Anthony
Kershaw.
Rizzo having a 2 for 4, a home run, and 3.
But anyway, Tommy, I
do.
didn't mean to digress, but that's the thing is I'm real impressed with the Flyers' youth. I think now it's got to translate to the Phillies because we're already seeing it with the Eagles and the Sixers.
Yeah.
One other thing real quick before we get off the Flyers. So Flyers battle back from that 4-goal deficit last night. Late in the game, Provorov being aggressive, trying to make a play, gets caught up ice. Blackhawks come back and score. Did that cost him the game? No, probably not. But I will say this. I actually saw something out of Claude Giroux last night that I haven't seen in about a year and a half.
Oh, the guy actually wears the C and acts like it? Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. He wore the C, and he acted like it last night because he specifically went to Provorov, and he told him, don't lose the aggressiveness.
Love it.
And big ups to Claude Giroux for finally understanding that if you're going to be the captain of this team, and there's going to be 19-year-olds on the team, you got to act like the captain and not, quote-unquote, one of the boys.
And I love that. And the one thing I've seen from the Flyers that I haven't seen in freaking 30 years of watching the Flyers hockey is – and the Blackhawks are a really fast team. But for the first time in years, the Flyers can skate. The Flyers can skate, guys, and that's why I'm excited. A hockey team that can actually skate around the ice. We don't dump and chase and then lose the dump. Like, that's how it used to be. We would dump and then lose the dump.
Yeah.
It's like, how do we lose the dump?
The level
It's dump and retreat.
That's exactly what it was. We're lucky if a puck goes off somebody and in. You know what I mean? That's how we were. We were scrappy. Go ahead, Robbie.
The level of competition on this squad is out of this world. You even got Matt Reed on a fourth line putting up 2 goals, showing what he can do. Because, look, if you're not going to perform, we're going to throw you on the fourth line and your next stop is out the door.
Right.
He's performing well. I think with Ivan Provorov, Mike, you touched it. You hit the nail right on the head there, right? The kid's still learning as much of a man-child as he is, and he's playing great, mature defensive hockey. He's going to make mistakes, but he's going to learn from your captain in that instance. He's also going to be learned by being paired with Mark Streit, who's 20 years older than him. So he's going to learn so well from there. Travis Konechny, I don't think he needs to learn anything.
No.
I mean, this kid could come up and score, and now he's showing that he's a playmaker, making that line with
his vision is something else.
Yeah, with Voracek and Couturier. Couturier is looking like an all-star right now. Now, don't get me wrong. I saw this coming. Sean Couturier had an excellent camp, but Konechny on that line is making him look like a rock star. That's going to be the hot line in the NHL.
But you also don't have to. You don't have to have Couturier as your third line center matched up against the other team's best line.
Right.
You've actually put Couturier now in a position where he could play some offense.
And you know who takes that role? Boyd Gordon. Boyd Gordon is the unheralded star of the Flyers. He's taking Giroux off the penalty kill, saving him, keeping him fresh for the power play and even strength. Taking away the team's another.
It's funny we talk about that after a game where they gave up 7 goals, but
it's the Chicago Blackhawks.
It's the Blackhawks,
and it's the Blackhawks, and it's an even younger Blackhawks team. When you got Panarin, you got this kid Nick Schmaltz, who looked really damn good as center iceman in that game. They're young, and look, they almost blew it. They almost got on their knees and blew that game. They were up 4-0 in the game, and this team with the intestinal fortitude that they had came back and tied that.
Well, the thing that I like about Provorov specifically in that game is he didn't look at 20,000 in the United Center and the best uniform in all of sports,
Right.
and Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane and Panarin, and go, I better know my place. No, he saw that and he said, screw it, I'm going to make a splash.
He's one of the most...
The aggressiveness is phenomenal.
Oh, he's one of the most confident young hockey players that I've seen in a long time. His confidence cannot be shooken. And Konechny, too. That's why these kids are up now, opposed to the Samuel Morans, the Travis Sanheims. Hextall put this philosophy that we're going to really rear these kids in AHL or in juniors. That's really code for these are B-level prospects that need maturation. Provorov and Konechny are A-listers that are meant to play in the NHL right off the bat. I'm not comparing them to Austin Matthews or Jack Eichel or McDavid, but they're a half step behind them, and they're ready to play right away, and it's showing.
Well, let me tell you something about when you talk about Couturier and looking better and looking like we always know he's a great two-way player. But the big thing is Konechny, like we're talking about, speed.
Yes.
Speed kills.
Yes.
And speed creates space on the ice. And when you saw last night, you've seen the first few games for the Flyers, is that speed now creates openings for Couturier to get easier goals. There's my little hockey knowledge, boys. That's all I got for you.
Hey-o.
You know what I mean? I'm not Mr. We're going to get into my bread and butter right now.
That's why you keep me around.
That's why I got you, Rob. It's like keep you in the back burner.
And Mikey showing, you know what I mean, man? He's a big Flyers fan.
Hey,
I'm a diehard too, but it's...
Oh, we're all fans, but I'm saying,
Just because we don't talk about it on our show doesn't mean I can't carry the torch.
Yeah, I mean, we'll walk around like it's the fucking Olympics here with the torch. We have no issue there. I don't know what the hell that meant, but it's getting late in the night.
I could sit in on hockey happy hour and not miss a beat.
Yeah, I can. Listen, maybe we come sit down.
Come on, boys. Sean, you're right too, baby.
My hockey knowledge is limited. I only know the rules from NHL 2K.
And the one picture, NHL 17 came out.
Yeah.
We'll get you educated. We'll have a few beers afterwards.
Biggest fan of the pipe. So the Sixers, boys, and we'll wrap it up. A 10-win team last year, a rebuild of a rebuild of a rebuild of a couple rebuilds. And Jerry Colangelo, what was it, Jerry or Brian? Who was on NBA TV the other night?
It's probably Brian.
Brian was on NBA TV the other night.
Jerry's kind of behind the scenes now.
I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch. If you do, maybe you can find it on demand. But a bunch of GMs sitting around talking. And the big thing they were talking about was that you roll your best lineup out. You have your guards, you have your wings, you have your bigs, but you run your best five out. And you figure it out from there. And I believe it was Ainge with the Suns for a little bit?
Yeah.
Right, Ainge with the Suns with Nash, right?
Yeah.
Well, he was talking about when they played San Antonio in the playoffs where he ran out his guard-heavy lineup, and Pop ran out his Will Perdue, David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and in the first 2 minutes, Pop was all pissed off and pulled Perdue out of the lineup, but the Danny Ainge's point is he rolled his best five out. He didn't worry about, you're a guard, and no, he said, my best five's going out and playing. And Brian Colangelo was pretty much saying the same thing here. So what I'm interested in, my issue before we get into win-losses for the Sixers is I'm actually upset that people are running Nerlens Noel out of town. Because Nerlens Noel is a talent. And I understand Embiid's look really good, and we know Ja can score in the low post at will, and we hope Ben Simmons is the savior. But you're running a guy out that does all the little things. And I think this is a really poor decision on our fan base just to forget this guy's a pretty good player in this league and is only getting better. Well, and we're sort of second fiddle to him like he doesn't even matter.
Here's my question, though. Is he being run out of town, per se, or is it just that
his contract's up first?
Well, that's just what it is. Is it the contract, he does have to re-up next year, and you look at what guys, he's basically averaged 11-6 for his career. And you look at what guys who have averaged 11-6 have signed for over the last couple of years. You can't afford, even with the salary cap going up, to pay for him, Embiid, and Ja. And he's probably got the most value right now in the preseason, because if you start the season and he's coming off the bench and the numbers drop, you're not going to get as much of a return for him. So I actually think that there is, and Tommy, I'm not telling you you're wrong. I think you're right, but I think there's a portion of the fan base that wants to run him out of town because they just keep saying he should be traded, he should be traded, he should be traded, without understanding why he needs to be traded. It's not because he's a bad player or because there's no room for him. It's because right now his value is at its highest.
See, if you ask me if I had to pick one to keep, one to go, I'm taking Nerlens over Ja just because I'm looking at the grand scheme of things. What's Ben Simmons' biggest thing? Rebound, push the ball. Joe Okafor isn't running a fast break with Ben Simmons. Noel, rim protector, has to develop his offensive game, but I think playing along a guy like Ben Simmons that can push the ball, run up-tempo, that's right up Noel's alley, and I think playing along a guy with the skill set of Simmons is only going to bring the best out of Noel's offense.
I completely agree with that. I'm going to go a step further. I don't trade any of them. I just don't. I didn't draft heavy, big-wise to then just deal them away. Listen, you can win with a few big men. For the love of God, when did Dario Saric get fucking crowned here? Okay? I mean, seriously. I mean, we're running Nerlens Noel out of town. Nerlens Noel out of town who does everything. He fills stat sheets. Stuff that those guys don't do, he does. For Dario Saric, see you, Dario. I mean, take your little mustache and go back.
I don't know, man.
I like Dario, but
I actually think I think his game is going to translate a lot better to the NBA.
I like
than
the
it
kid.
does the international game. I think he's a lot better than we think he's going to be.
I agree. I've watched a lot of them so far. I like the kid. My point is, when do we just crown this kid, who I want here, don't get me wrong, but all these picks I want here? There's a reason we went heavy big. Because at the end of the day, I don't give a rat's ass how the Golden State Warriors have won. At the end of the day, you win inside out in this league. Unless you're Michael freaking Jordan or LeBron James, you win inside out. That's never going to freaking change because the team gets hot from three. At the end of the day, what's a higher percentage shot?
Yeah.
Okay, so I drafted this way. I understand that Brian Colangelo didn't, but Sam Hinkie drafted this way for a reason. Let the process work itself out. If you don't sign Nerlens and he walks, so be it. You're a freaking top 5 market again in sports. You don't have to be cheap or worry about when the contracts run up. When a contract runs out and you have a ton of cap space, thank you, Sam Hinkie, right? Then you can either sign Nerlens back or go or make a different move. But let the process play out this year. This is what these guys in these groups and these beat writers with their goddamn agendas are freaking morons. There's no rush this year to make any deals. See, you can make a deal halfway through the year if you need to.
Right.
It doesn't have to happen now. Let these kids play. They can all play 25 minutes a night. They can. So Reek can play to 3. You understand? He can play to 3 against certain matchups.
Well, that's probably where he's best suited.
So let me ask you a question. You trade Nerlens, right? We trade Nerlens, and then B gets hurt again. Then what do?
Then you're stuck with Ja at center.
Exactly. So let the process play out. You know what I mean? Let them. What creates great teams?
Well, but see,
right? What creates great competition?
Right, but back up a half a step. That's the problem. Is that everyone is seeing Embiid healthy in the preseason, and they're seeing him put up 12 points in 15 minutes, and all of a sudden it's like the next freaking coming of Hakeem Olajuwon is here. When the kid's got to go 25 to 30 in a night, is he going to be able to play back-to-backs? Or are the knees, ankles, back, whatever, going to be sore, swell up on him?
So if you can sit the kid a night and then Noel gets more playing time,
right.
It all works out.
Exactly.
So you let this year just play itself out. Because like we were talking right before, competition creates greatness.
Yes.
So I want the competition. I want these guys to battle each other because when you're battling really good players in practice, it's only going to make you better in game day. And it's only going to make you better as your career goes on. So why would I be in a rush to get rid of any of them? I got a boatload of talent here. Let me stick to my talent. Let it work itself out because it will. Because maybe after 82 games this year, maybe Nerlens is the better of all of them. I'm not saying he is. Or maybe Jaleel, who can't even stay on the goddamn court. That's the guy. I love Jaleel Okafor. Listen, I said when we drafted him that year it was a steal because he was the number 1 player in my opinion. But you guys stay on the court, brother. Yeah. I need you guys on the court. All these guys, they need to be on the court, and I can't take another year. And if you ask me when Ben Simmons, what I saw in the summer league and what I was converting to, I was converting this to a 35-40 win team. There's no guard play. Not good enough NBA
Stauskas
level.
sucks.
Oh, Stauskas, he needs it. I don't know, slit his own wrist or something. He'll probably miss that too. He'll miss the slit. You know what I mean? It'll be wide left. Idiot.
Just to chime in real quick, I think it comes down to a quality of character, and there is no better character in that locker room than Nerlens Noel. I had the distinct pleasure to interview the kid, down to earth, knows where he comes from, humble, doesn't get wrapped up in the whole flash of the NBA. I think that's a guy I want to keep on my team, especially if he can perform.
Robbie, I don't doubt you.
Right?
But he's talking a lot of shit right now.
You think so? You think it's Fugazi?
No. I mean, he. That's another part of the problem with why do people keep chirping that he needs to be traded, because he's the one who's in the media saying, "I don't understand why I'm still here." He just needs to shut his mouth. Understanding that Brett.
Well, what was the question asked?
Brett's okay with it.
They asked him.
What was the question asked?
They said, "What's your how'd your summer go, and what's your expectations for this year?" He said, "I don't really have any expectations because I don't see how it's going to work with the three of us." And then he said, "I really felt like one of us had to go
That's a
this
kid.
summer."
That's just kid.
It is, and that's why Brett was okay with it, and that's why
But that's why
Colangelo
a
was
lot
okay
of
with
fans
it
are
because
rubbed the wrong way.
They said
It doesn't rub me the wrong way.
They said it's a young guy who basically just said what he was feeling, and he probably shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, rub me the wrong way was to get me the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? I mean, for him saying that he doesn't understand, he's a kid, but that's where Brett Brown has to come in and say, "Hey, man, I'm going to use you in great spots. I got great ideas. We're going to run three bigs out at a time. Like you can play a stretch three because you can defend the three because you're athletic enough. Now, can he shoot? No. Now, offensively, that hurts you a little bit, but he can defend certain threes in this league. He can defend stretch fours.
But there's no reason that he can't play the three on the defensive end and then swap with Ja and have Ja play the three on the offensive end, and then you're huge.
If you're a creative coach, you can make it work. Now, Brian Colangelo needs to sit these guys down, too, and say, "Listen to me. Just what I said for 20 minutes is, listen, we're going to do this together. It doesn't matter that we're heavy with bigs. We're going to win, and I'm going to show you how this can all work and get these guys on board." But, listen, he's still a kid. I just think Nerlens does so much. I don't want to trade any of them, including Dario. Like, we did this for a reason.
Right.
Like, we sat through the agony for years for this.
But to your point, though, I don't think the Sixers necessarily drafted bigs as a philosophy. I think it was just the hands they were dealt. I think when they got Embiid, they wanted Wiggins. And I think last year when they took Okafor, I think if D'Angelo Russell's on the board, they're taking him.
Tell me that's not a blessing in disguise that they didn't get that clubhouse cancer, though.
Although I think he's matured this year. He's actually become...
Oh, what? He left the cell phone in his locker instead of taking it to the club? And videotaping all his boys?
I understand what you guys are saying, and I'm not disagreeing with you, Sean, that it's the cards that were dealt, and it definitely was. But now they could have went in different directions, but at the end of the day...
And I think they ultimately, if Embiid stays healthy, they ultimately won that draft, because if Embiid's healthy, he's the best player in that class.
Better than Wiggins?
A lot of scouts said if he never got hurt in college, he would have went one.
No, I think he's a monster. I mean, I think he's a game changer. I think he's the kind of guy who wins you a chip. I mean, because listen... I can't stress it enough how much big men win in this league. And the great big men. Think about it. Think about the big Aristotle, big Cactus.
He's just a big-ass dude.
Right, but here's the thing about Wiggins, though.
I love Wiggins.
But did he make Minnesota markedly better? Not yet.
Yeah, there's a reason why they still were able to go get Karl Anthony Towns.
Right. I mean, is he going to be?
It's going to be a few years.
Is he going to be the good player on the bad team, or is he and Karl Anthony Towns going to take that team and lift them up?
Very true. What position in the NBA would you rather be in terms of a rebuild? I'd rather be right here.
Oh, yeah, I think the Sixers ultimately have way more talent. Yeah,
there's me talent because I'm going to win. I'm going to win like old school days. I'm going to win old San Antonio days. I'm going to beat you up inside. And that's what they're building here. So I actually think to your point that some of it was the cards that were dealt, and the other of it was, hey, can we replicate a little bit what San Antonio did in terms of the big men?
Well, and if there's anybody that should know how to coach that, it should be Brett.
It should be Brett. Well, listen, this has been another pleasure. Another edition. Tom.
Mike.
AM.
In the PM.
Radio82DRadio.com. Tom Renaud, Michael Madrick, Sean Redden, Rob Povey on the 1 to 2. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Gibson Mayer, LLC, our certified public accountant. Find them on the web, GibsonMayer.com, as well as BMW of Atlantic City, exit 37 to Parkway, online, BMW of AtlanticCity.com. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Commonwealth League in football, Saturday afternoon.
Commonwealth League in football, 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon, as well as AIM Sports Showcase, 9 o'clock Friday morning. We're out.
Peace.